The YouTube stream is not streaming, so at some point we'll apologize to the people at home, but that's why you guys paid the big money for tickets here tonight. So, especially you guys in the front row. Okay, so we're going to begin and we're going to record the meeting and it'll be available, hopefully. We can upload it, at least the audio portion. All right, let's get going.
Our first public hearing tonight is an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinance of the City of Long Beach, Rebuilding Code and Zoning Code Appendix A.
So as you will recall, the council voted last April to enact a one-year moratorium on the application for or establishment of battery energy storage systems, otherwise known as BESS, within the confines of the city. This is a public hearing on the proposed amendments to the building and zoning sections of the Code of Ordinances with respect to BESS. The amended section of the building code provides for a definition of BESS and their various ratings and prohibits the installation of any system exceeding a rating of 80 kilowatt hours. Exceeding 80 kilowatt hours is essentially what would be considered a utility grade BESS and beyond what a resident might install in their home for charging an electric car or as an emergency backup power supply. The amended section of the building code, the second part of this resolution, also provides for a definition of BESS and prohibits the installation of any system exceeding a rating of 80 kilowatt hours in every zoning district within the city. Taken together, these amendments to the two sections of the code effectively ban utility-grade battery energy storage systems from being established in Long Beach. Corporation Counsel Greg Kalnitzky can speak further on this item if there are any questions.
I'm just going to ask Greg to explain his the procedures he's going to do.
Sure. The council asked me to put together a BESS prohibition. We wanted to do so cautiously because BESS can literally be any type of battery storage. It could be a cell phone, a Duracell battery, a car battery, solar panels, and obviously we don't want to affect any residential purpose of BESS. The intent was to target the industrial grade BESS. So I did some research on what other municipality has done, and I borrowed from the town of Southampton as far as their residential limit on BESS. I felt that would be appropriate because it would let residents do what they need to do at home, but 80 kilowatt hours is far too small for an industrial grade BESS. Rationale being our industrial area in Long Beach where a BESS in theory would go is very small, but more importantly, it's adjacent to all of the city's critical infrastructure, such that if there were a catastrophic event at that location, it wouldn't just impact an area of the city, it could have far-reaching effects across the entire city. So with that being said, we modified the code accordingly. That's what's before the council today.
All right, thank you, Greg. So we have comments from the questions or comments from the public on this agenda item. Christina, I was looking all over for you.
You found me.
That's more applause than I'm going to get, Christina. So.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for putting me with this other agenda item, but because we got a lot of people here, and they should know that people in their community from Protect Our Coast, Long Island, New York, have been fighting for this for 3 years. So if you're not on the group, join it, because it's a cause that you don't have a choice to make, unlike the other issue here. So anyway, good evening. I'm Christina Kramer, live at 361 East Broadway, also the president of Protect Our Coast, Long Island, New York. I'm here tonight to represent the 6,300 members of our group. Many of them are from our community, and we strongly support the proposed ordinance to amend Section 7.7 and Appendix A regarding the battery energy storage systems, otherwise known as BESS. Protecting our residents is primary duty of this body. By enacting this ordinance, you are taking a critical stand against the encroachment of large-scale BESS installations that pose a significant fire and safety risk to our densely populated coastal community. This is not just a zoning update, it's a shield for Long Beach. The proposed language correctly identifies that installations exceeding 80 kilowatt hours have no place in our city. In a community where homes are built closely together and evacuation routes are limited, there are no shelter-in-place protocols, nor would they ever be possible. A thermal runaway event in a large-scale lithium-ion battery facility would be catastrophic. there would be nowhere to run, and our residents would be forced to breathe in poisonous toxins. There would be no mitigation for this after the fact. While the state government, through the Rapid Act, may attempt to steamroll local protections, passing this ordinance creates a vital legal hurdle. It sends a clear message to Albany. Long Beach will not be a passive, sacrificial zone for high voltage infrastructure. We must make it as difficult for the state to use our city as an entry point for high voltage EMF radiating cables like those proposed by Propel New York. We also see on tonight's agenda the significant expenditures for our fire department and water purification plant. It's ironic to authorize $174,000 for water filter rehabilitation while simultaneously facing the threat of large-scale BESS units that could contaminate our groundwater or strain our emergency services beyond capacity during a fire. We must refuse to let Long Beach become the energy vein for data centers upstate. Our land, our safety, our property values are more important than being the throughway for high voltage energy transmission. I thank you for being proactive and not reactive, and I urge the council to vote yes on this ordinance tonight. Let it be the first of many steps to ensure any behind-the-meter installations remain strictly small scale, capped at 20 kilowatt hours per unit and 80 kilowatt hours in total. As outlined in the amendment, let's keep the large scale out of Long Beach. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Christina. I appreciate your advocacy, not just on this item, but on everything you just spoke about, especially the cables that were supposed to come on here. So thank you very much for your eloquent explanation. Any other comments from the public? Yes. In the back. Someone raised their hand? Oh, Liz Preston, okay.
Liz Preston, Long Beach. I don't know what the protocol is for you, if you can vote on this now. This is an absolute no-brainer. It should have been done a couple of years ago. Thank you, Greg, for getting all of the information in the correct way. Again, if it could be voted on now so people don't have to sit here for, the last time we sat here, we were here for 4 hours, just letting you know. So that people are just here for this can go home if they wish. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Yes?
I don't think I need a microphone.
No, you have to come up anyway. That's how we do it. Sorry.
Okay.
You're right, though. You don't need a microphone. You're good.
Radio voice.
I have
Stephen Weiss, resident of Long Beach. I'd like to know if this prohibition includes not allowing a cable to come through Long Beach headed for Island Park.
No, this is just an item
The
regulating BESS
BESS.
installations.
We're controlling the size of a BESS.
Correct.
We still may be vulnerable to a cable coming through town to a facility in Island Park.
I'm not aware of any plans at this time for that to occur, but in theory,
In
I suppose
theory,
you're correct.
we're not protected.
Right.
Is there something that can be done?
I'm not sure that this can be done vis-a-vis zoning, because with zoning, we're identifying a specific use, BESS, and prohibiting it up after a certain kilowatt hour level.
I understand.
Banning wires, underground utility wires, I'm not sure that the city can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Yes? Thanks.
Hello, Kathleen Sullivan.
Hi, Kathleen.
How are you?
Good, thanks.
As you know, I'm the finance director of Protect Our Coast. I just want to say thank you for putting this ban in place. This definitely solidifies that nothing like that anything could pass through this town, this type of stoppage at only megawatts. And I just want to say that we appreciate you and that, we want to continue working with you while we're fighting the residuals of the 52 offshore turbines.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hope you feel the same way at the end of the meeting. Any other comments from the public? Okay, I think we can close that one. Yeah. Okay, so, you want to make a motion?
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion that we can vote on public hearing number 1.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Ennis?
Yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt?
Yes.
Vice President Fiumara?
Yes.
President Finn?
Yes, I just want to say, once again, I thank the Park Landing people for their advocacy, and I think it was very instrumental in this happening. So thank you very much, and of course, it's yes, gotta protect Long Beach. Good job. Okay, let's get to the next one, please.
Our next public hearing is an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Long Beach, re motor vehicles and traffic.
So this public hearing is a proposal to make amendments to the motor vehicle and traffic section of the Code of Ordinances. There are two main changes here. The first effectively eliminates the beloved immobilization or tire booting program that was enacted a few years back. The second provides for adjudication of any dispute to a police-directed tow in our city court, which we feel is the more appropriate venue. Currently, these cases are being heard by an independent hearing officer hired by the city, as you remember voting on at the last meeting. Again, Mr. Kalnitsky can field any questions you may have on this matter.
Any questions? I mean, Dan basically summed this up correctly. We removed any reference to immobilization or the towing, and we changed what's called a crim stock hearing. It's a post-seizure hearing that needs to occur within a certain, quick period of time after a tow. I have had experience litigating these matters in other places and have come to very good settlements that were approved by both sides and judges. And I basically insert what I did as city attorney in Glen Cove into our code in Long Beach. And I think it's a great change. It sort of streamlines the way this works. It shifts certain burdens. It relieves the city of having to hire a hearing officer when we have two wonderful judges in the city court of Long Beach that are perfectly capable of adjudicating these issues.
Great, you explained it for me. Do we have questions from the council on this?
No question, but I'm guessing this will probably save us some money in the long run, I would guess. Correct, right?
I mean, right now, we're paying our hearing officer about $150 a hearing. The hearing officer has a backlog of a couple of cases from the snow events this season, but beginning next season, which is really when I see the uptick on this happening, we won't have to pay any hearing officer, and we'll handle everything in-house, and the courts will adjudicate it, and they could also adjudicate their underlying parking issues at the same time, so it also helps people in that regard.
Okay. Anybody else on the council? Questions or comments from the public? Okay, no, so we'll close this one out. Okay. Make a motion to go on this thing. I will just keep moving with the agenda.
Our third public hearing is an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinance of the City of Long Beach, re Ocean Beach Park, bars, taverns, nightclubs, and other establishments, and Appendix A of the zoning code.
So I'm sure this is what a lot of people are waiting for, this one. As presently written, the Code of Ordinances prohibits the sale of alcohol within establishments that abut and have a public entrance onto the boardwalk. Additionally, the code currently prohibits the city clerk from issuing a license to any establishment wishing to serve alcohol for on-premise consumption, except for where one already exists, unless it's a full-service restaurant with only a service bar measuring 10 feet or less. These measures were put into place in 1986 and have been overridden by the Zoning Board of Appeals numerous times. In just the past decade, 18 establishments have been granted variances by the Zoning Board of Appeals to openly and open an entirely new venue, an extension of a bar, or both. These include Bright Eye Brewery, Barrier Brewery, Bungalow West, and other popular locations throughout Long Beach. According to the code as currently written, the Alegria Hotel should not be serving alcohol, which it has been doing since opening in 2009 without incident. Nor would Tulum Taco, which is slated to open at the Superblock this summer, be allowed to have anything more than a 10-foot service bar. It also prohibits our existing and future beach concessions from exploring options for reasonable on-site consumption of alcohol by their patrons. Operating a small or family-run food and beverage establishment is extremely difficult, especially in today's climate. The proposed amendment striking these prohibitions better supports our small businesses, the investments they make in our city, and the larger economic churn they create in our city. We also need to be real that we're facing competition from visitors from other destinations like Jones Beach, the Rockaways, and Reese Park, all of whom allow their adult patrons the option of on-site consumption of alcohol responsibly. If you've been to any of these locations recently, I think you'd have to agree these establishments have become an amenity and have not created an unruly environment. To be clear, if adopted, these changes would not, I repeat, not allow for sale or consumption of alcohol on the boardwalk or beach. We are not altering section 18-44 of the code, which expressly prohibits these activities. Nor do any of these changes impact state liquor authority regulations and processes that govern how, where, and to whom licenses are issued. What we are trying to do here is lessen the burdensome bureaucratic red tape placed on our small businesses and make Long Beach a more enjoyable and attractive place for both our residents and visitors alike. There are also a few legal considerations that I'd like our Corporation Counsel, Greg Kalninsky, to speak on before opening up to the council and the public.
Thank you, Dan. Just so everyone's on the same page, we have two laws that we're looking to change in this public hearing. The first pertains to establishments north of the Ocean Beach Park and indicates that where they have an opening to the boardwalk, they are only permitted to serve food and non-alcoholic beverages. This would render the Alegria's business over the past 17 years illegal since they serve alcohol and have an opening to the boardwalk. The law would also render Tulum Taco's proposed business at the Superblock an illegal business, despite them making substantial investments in our community to offer residents a nice boardwalk amenity. The second law carries certain legal considerations. That is the law which indicates that there can be no new bars and that any new establishments must be limited to no more than a 10-foot service bar. Before diving into those legal considerations, Dan made an important point about the zoning board. In the last 13 years, the zoning board has heard 18 applications for new establishments or establishments looking to extend the size of their bar and has approved all of them. Zoning boards generally have to be mindful of their own precedent and are required to distinguish that precedent when made a part of the hearing record. So then I would ask, how can the zoning board distinguish the last 13 years of zoning board precedent wherein they consistently grant variances to the law that we're now looking to strike? At that point, the 10-foot bar application merely becomes a piece of bureaucratic red tape, a waste of time and money for business owners as well. Moreover, if the board were ever to deny one of those applications, and I mean the zoning board, not this board, I'm grateful they haven't for the reason I'm about to tell you. I know that if I represented that applicant, in addition to claiming that the decision to deny is arbitrary and capricious in so much as it contravenes 13 years of zoning board precedent, I would assert that the law itself is illegal. The New York State Court of Appeals, which is New York's highest court, held in People versus De Jesus, which is a case from 1981, that municipalities are preempted from regulating anything to do with alcohol. The court found that the alcohol beverage control law's detailed regulatory scheme, combined with its policy to, quote, regulate the manufacture, sale, and distribution within the state of alcoholic beverages, unquote, demonstrates the legislature's intent to preempt local regulation. Instead, delegating licensing and enforcement authority exclusively to the state liquor authority. That means that municipalities like Long Beach cannot do a thing to regulate alcohol, as the field of alcohol regulation has been preempted by the state. For example, in De Jesus, the Court of Appeals struck down a Rochester ordinance prohibiting patrons from remaining in establishments selling alcohol after 2 a.m., finding that it conflicted with state law permitting sales until 4 a.m. and consumption until 4:30 a.m. Similarly, in a case called Lansdowne Entertainment Corporation versus New York City Department of Consumer Affairs, a Court of Appeals case from 1989, the Court of Appeals held that compelling a state licensed business to close at a time when customers are otherwise permitted to consume alcoholic beverages directly regulates subject matter within the exclusive jurisdiction of the state. So while municipalities are permitted to enact laws of general application that only incidentally affect alcohol sales, such as requiring smoke detectors, forbidding dumping on sidewalks, or prohibiting disorderliness at any place of public assembly, the courts have made clear that those laws cannot target alcohol-related activities. We can regulate things like parking requirements that are applicable to all businesses, but we cannot pass an ordinance purporting to target alcohol sales. Turning to the law at issue, I can't possibly think that regulating the size and use of a bar in an establishment does anything other than target alcohol-related activities. It would be incumbent on the city to explain what governmental interest is served other than the regulation of alcohol in regulating the size and use of bars. In addition, the city would need to show that this prohibition does not specifically regulate alcohol and is applicable to all businesses, which would be impossible to do on its face, since it regulates the size and manner of bars used to serve alcohol and does not regulate any other thing. Finally, while some may think that bars generate parking and traffic concerns, the occupancy and parking load of any establishment, whether they sell alcohol or not, is a function of the use of the space and its floor area. Whether an establishment serves alcohol or not, as long as they are both places of public assembly, which bars and restaurants are, their parking loads and occupancy would be identical, assuming they were the same size. So in summary, what these two proposed changes come down to is two things. One, do we want to enforce an existing statute that prohibits establishments with an opening to the boardwalk from selling alcohol on their own premises, thereby putting businesses such as the Alegria and the forthcoming Tulum Taco out of business? And two, do we want to keep a law on the books that is, on its face, illegal and create something that amounts to bureaucratic red tape to opening a business by requiring those people to spend time and money all to get a variance from a code section that is illegal? Unless the council has any questions, I'll defer to the city council president to run the public portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate that explanation. This is a public hearing. I want to open it up to the public. I would just like to repeat and echo what Dan said. Want to dispel the rumors and try to avoid the hysteria. There will be no drinking on the beach, no open carrier, no open containers on the beach, no drinking on the boardwalk, no open containers on the boardwalk. There will be no nightclubs on the boardwalk. In fact, there is no plan for nightclubs. So I think we can dispel that part of it. I will take questions from the public and comments from the public now. I'll call Dennis.
Good evening, City Council. President, thank you. Members of the City Council, thank you. My name is Dennis Kelly. I'm an attorney in town at 120 West Park Avenue, Long Beach, New York, 11561, as well as a resident. I represent Riptides. I want to make a couple of comments about what the Corporation Council just said, as well as address some issues that have arisen out in the public realm regarding my client, Riptides. First and foremost, I agree with Corporation Council. State law, in fact, preempts our statutes, the four that are referenced in the City Council agenda. They just haven't been challenged in court yet, but I'll tell you right now, if they were challenged in court, they would be found to be preempted by the ABC law and the State Liquor Authority. Having said that, I'll now talk about Riptides a little bit to dispel some of the rumors that are out there relative to Riptides. First and foremost, there is information out there that was being considered. There was a State Liquor Authority application made in November in which my client did the best he could to try to express what he might want or what might be permitted, and that's in the public realm now. So now we have rumors about DJs and nightclubs and things of that nature. First and foremost, I want the public to know that we do not have a written agreement with the City of Long Beach. We've been working very diligently with the City of Long Beach, with the city manager, with the Corporation Council, with Public Works, going over almost every idea and issue that we could go through to try to reach an agreement, and we're still working on it, okay? Some of the representations I can make to the public now about some of the things President Finn mentioned is that if the liquor license was granted, my client would have last call for food and beverages at 8:45 p.m., no later. He himself wants to be home by 10 o'clock. He himself is at Riptides at 4 a.m. every morning, working diligently to provide the good service and attractive service that he does. And those who know him know that's true of him, and that the quality of the food and the ambiance of the business is well regarded. There will be on-premise security if they have the opportunity to sell liquor at Riptides, meaning there would be a segregated area. The food area, in which you can see from the boardwalk, you step up to the counter and you make your order, would be separated from an area in which we could sell alcohol. The security would be there at the entrance of that segregated area, checking IDs. Nope, that's 3 minutes already? Yeah. Holy cow. If I may, Mr. President, I just want to go through a couple of other statements about I just want to. Okay. If anyone wants to call me at my office, they're more than welcome to.
Thank you.
So I can address those other issues.
Thank you for speaking, and I will add that. Okay, other comments from the public? Right there on the right.
Good evening. My name is Nicholas Gerards. I'm here to represent Tulum Tacos and Tequilas.
Just hold on a little bit too close to your mouth. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So my name is Nicholas Gerards, and I'm here to represent Tulum Tacos and Tequila, located at 180 Boardwalk. Let me first say that I'm not a lawyer, and my my social anxiety is through the roof, speaking to a group of people of this many. But I thought it was important to show up here today and show the human component of what my company stands for. I am shaking.
Me too.
Secondly, I want to start by saying how excited we are to be in Long Beach. The community of Long Beach, we've been working on this project for 4 years. As you may know, we have 2 other projects, one in Mineola, one in Baldwin. We've been doing these projects for 4+ years. We work very well together with the local communities, the chambers, as well as the local school district, fire departments, police departments. We have 0 violations.
Like to hear that.
We're opening up on the boardwalk in the Breeze Apartments. Our lease prevents us from being open past 11 p.m. at night. We are not opening up a nightclub. We are opening up a first-class establishment, a Mexican eatery with a speakeasy. To date, we have invested millions of dollars in a 7,200 square foot restaurant on the boardwalk to serve the community year-round. Not seasonally, not 6 months, 12 months. No matter whether it snows, rains, or it's beautiful outside, and you can go surfing on the beach. Our project is going to be a Mexican-style chop house. Also, not to worry, we have negotiated parking directly with the landlord, so you can take that off the table. We support the current proposal, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't stand here today. And to the community, I look forward to seeing you all this summer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for welcoming to Long Beach. Anybody else? Go ahead in front row.
Hi, my name's John Sharp. I'm here to support this resolution to expand the bars sizes in Long Beach. I think it's, the law is with you on that, and also I think Riptide would run a great little establishment on the boardwalk. I think it's time, 2026, that somebody my age, 46, just kidding, can go up and have a drink on the boardwalk and with his family and have a good time. I mean, it's not going to be a crazy nightclub. It's just going to be a place you can go till, like, what they say, 8:30, 9 o'clock, have a drink, and then you go home. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Okay, right, yes. Sheila, right? Yeah, how could I get that wrong? Look at that sunset. See that sunset?
Hi, Kathleen O'Leary.
Kathleen, I'm sorry. Sorry.
I'm here to represent the community point of view. The way I see it is this law is more for the establishments than it is for the community. This morning I went through a few immediate effects of alcohol, not the long term, which I think we're all familiar with, but immediate effects. The first one, well, this is from something for me. Alcohol and swimming do not mix. I've been a lifetime swimmer. You never drink and go in the ocean or a pool, so that's number one. Number two, the immediate reactions is a reduction of inhibitions, which could lead to crimes and that people wouldn't do if they were sober. Second immediate reaction is cognitive and motor impairment. We have people falling over, we have people causing DWIs, we've already had two people killed by someone on Park Avenue who was a DWI, and it goes on and on. Another thing is emotional instability immediately when you start drinking. This could lead to fights, okay? We know with Irish Day, that has been toned down. There was fights all over the place in the West End before that was toned down. And last, the immediate effect would be memory loss, blackouts. So someone could do a crime, hit somebody, rape somebody, whatever, and have no memory of it. So these are the immediate effects. I kind of resent the fact that you're talking about small businesses. Cabana, Jetty, and this guy who's got 3 establishments, those are not small businesses. Those are significant businesses. And the change to this law would benefit them, not us. All right, just going through the law as it is. We used to have a bar on the beach in the old days. I believe this law was probably written as a result of what was going on. It was written, they witnessed rowdiness, vandalism, hooliganism, loud and boisterous conditions, disturbing tranquility of the city and its residents. So we've been here before. We fixed this, and now we're going to undo it. And it's not in the interest of the residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Right there. Yes, please. Yeah.
Vinnie Lease, 418 East Hudson Street. In favor of this passing. I just want to say that I've been to Tobay, I've been to Gilgo by boat, I've been to Jones Beach by car, I've been to Rockaways by train, and every time we go, me and my wife and my children, we always have a great time. We're able to see the ocean, have a drink, have a bite to eat. Here we can't. It would be very nice that I can go for a bike ride with my children and my wife and have a drink. Look at the ocean that we have in front of us. That's all we want. But just a fun fact, like everybody's worried about, you know, things going awry and stuff. But Monday through Thursday, what takes place on our beach between Monroe and Laurelton? Volleyball games, you know? No one's calling, police aren't coming, everybody's enjoying a good volleyball game, maybe they're having a drink, I don't know what's in their solo cup. But like, everything's fine with that. So why can't we just have a drink and a bite to eat on the boardwalk with these guys? All right? My wife would probably like it even better. You know. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. We're back there. Blue shirt? Oh, Brian. Okay.
Greetings. Can you guys hear me back here? I'm Brian Patton. I reside at 662 West Beach Street. I'm also, full disclosure, I'm a volunteer. I volunteer. I'm a part of the planning board here. So, part of the planning board here. I'm a 60-year resident of Long Beach. For you that don't know, that doesn't qualify you as being a local.
I know.
You know, I lived 30 years at 63 Wisconsin, and down the block was Nino's Pizza, Sandbar, Trainers, the Virginia. So I try to get, you know, I kind of understand some of the concerns with the West End, but those years compared to now are completely different times. There's soundproof doors, there's crowds being moved and stuff. There's been major, they've alleviated most of that stuff, but with the exception of certain days. I see a bunch of former councilmen here, and I want to acknowledge them because public service is the hardest thing to do. And just because we don't agree on everything doesn't mean we can't communicate and get along and get a resolution. There's the big word this year is affordability in politics. And in the city of Long Beach, there's a comprehensive plan. And I've read it numerous times, and I try to go back to it. And it is about growth in Long Beach. And the only way to maintain the taxes is either to get growth or to reduce services. That's basically it. I'm sorry? These guys could answer that. You know,
Fake news, by the way.
Also, in this comprehensive plan, which was not this administration or the next, it was, I think it goes back 2 or 3, 45% of the jobs in Long Beach are service-oriented jobs, meaning that restaurant, hotels, bars. All right. You know, these businesses attract reliable employment, especially for the youth. You know, I go to the Hollywood Gym every day. I take the boardwalk. Brian has young kids out there early in the morning, power wash and sweeping. They're all local kids. You know, they're there till the establishment closes. He not only takes care of his property, but I see him, you know, there's residue from Marvell and everything from Coneston. He's got his power wash on that too. So these are businessmen, these are businesses, you know, we talk about it like, you know, they're going to infect the neighborhood or something. These men are licensed business owners. I'm trying to read my handwriting, you know. Am I done already?
Don't worry about it.
I was just getting started.
I couldn't ever read your handwriting either, so it's okay. Thank you very much.
Rich Papetti, 46 Wisconsin Street. It's been a very long time since I've been up here. I'm not here really to voice an opinion on either way on one of these because my family's already stressed out because when I do voice my opinion, I get in trouble with certain council members who like to pose threats.
I've never done anything to you.
Not you. I'm only looking at you because you're neutral. Could be me either, I'm on social media.
Well, I'm good looking, that's why you're looking
But,
at
you
me.
know, things that I opinionated. I just wanted to make a couple of clarifications. I mean, I agree what Greg was saying about the different things, but it goes back further than that. I mean, the law came, not when Chauncey's was done, when the bars started expanding in the West End. We actually have it's a zoning problem. You know, I mean, can't say, well, they all went to the zoning. It's a zoning problem. They're not standing up for the residents. I mean, there's been 2 in the West End that were built as full bars in the dark of night and went up to the zoning board and said, hey, we didn't even have a liquor license there. Can we still have it? Yes. And it was 26 since the law was passed that opened as restaurants with service bars, and 24 of them got full bars afterwards. I'm not complaining about that either. And I just want to know, like, Tulum, I've eaten and there's other places and all. I just want to get this right. Like, you're laying this law because they have a door that opens towards the boardwalk. Because Tulum is 4 foot higher, so that deck outside of there, you're considering as far as giving them a license because it's above there. The Alegria is on the side of the building, and the other bar is on the roof. But the door's open towards the boardwalk, so you're holding that against them because they have a door that opens towards the boardwalk? It ain't opening to the boardwalk. Tulum is 4 foot higher, and it's on private property.
I just walked into the Alegria today from the boardwalk straight in.
Yeah, I know, but I don't see them having the doors open and serving out the door. But their deck is on the side. I'm just trying to make a clarification. With Tulum, you can walk in off private property. You have to go up 4 feet and on private property.
Okay.
It's just a clarification I'm trying to make, that you're lumping this in to that. Blaming Tulum and blaming the Alegria and saying this affects them. I just want to know.
Actually, not blaming either one of them, it's the ordinance that was the problem.
Well, that's what I'm trying to
Okay.
let people know. How does that ordinance affect them when they're not opening to the boardwalk? Grant, like you just said, Alegria has a door that opens to the boardwalk. Does the rooftop bar open toward the boardwalk? Does Tulum's 4 foot up, it opens up and they have a deck on private property. It's not even past the boardwalk line. I don't think that having people come out onto the boardwalk is what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right? All right, and that was it. Have fun with the rest of it.
Thank you. Thank you, Rich. Okay, I think I recognize you. Come on up.
Sorry. Hello.
You're too young for that.
How you doing? No, I'm not. Peggy Butts, Shore Road, Long Beach. I'm going to take a little bit of a different tactic on this situation because I think that what we're not really hearing is that the bigger concern is what's going to happen when an individual may abuse the alcohol use and when there is an issue like we had like a couple of months ago where we're talking about underage drinking and trying to make sure that we keep that minimized or alleviate that altogether. There's a slew of different restaurants going down Beach Avenue that are bars. There's the Alegria that has its restaurant. There'll be the Tulu Taco that will open up, that will be a restaurant. We have Long Beach Hotel like a block away on Broadway that has a bar. People are not that far away that they can get to the beach. The issue is that these places are staying open maybe up to 11 or maybe up to like 9 o'clock at night serving. There still is an issue during those summer months, especially when people are going onto the beach, even after they've had a drink, even if they are not drinking and then running out with their beverage out to the boat or the beach, but they do have that access to now go onto the beach because at 6 o'clock and beyond, you don't have lifeguards anymore. And we all know that every year we have incidents of people going into the water after hours because the beach is for free, and I don't have to worry about checking my cooler with anybody at the beach tower or anything else, or to get a ticket or whatever else may be, and they may have a solo cup or whatever they may have, but you start increasing, basically keep on having more attacks of additional things that can come up. Parking, they'll stay there longer because now they're at the bar. And so we already have an issue with parking, which we still don't have an answer on that yet with the parking workshop. You're gonna have people then maybe hanging out at the boardwalk even after they've been drinking. We've had incidents where we know there are DWIs. We have people who will be walking across the street who maybe drink too much. Unfortunately, you're gonna have people who don't know how to drink socially and know their limits. And so then it's gonna be a matter of how we're gonna regulate that. Are you gonna have the police up there later? Are you gonna have lifeguards on duty later? If that's the case, who's gonna pay for that? Who's gonna pay for the coverage at the beach? Who's gonna pay for making sure that there's somebody who's doubling up on whatever security needs to be done when they do come out of these establishments? Whether it's right or wrong, legal or not, at the end of the day, they can go to any bar, whether it be even on Park Avenue, and walk their way down. After 6, we don't know what people are doing after they've drank at home or anywhere else. They will be on the beach. So we have other issues that tie into this too, that maybe we should start looking at it in a more wholesome way of looking at it, instead of looking at it as an attack of one establishment or the other per se, but just the fact that it's going to be a lot of things that's going to be tied in with this. Okay? Yes?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Right there at the blue shirt. Oh, okay, I was got him, yes. Sorry. You'll be next.
Good evening. Jack Ryan, 31 Delaware Avenue. I'm here not to talk about the boardwalk. That's up to you folks. You decide what you want to do. I'm talking about the outright repeal of 14-300, 301, and 9-1061. We do not need more bars. I'm going to talk about the West End. I did my own little survey. Except for the unfortunate people on Illinois, Ohio, and Nevada, everybody in the West End is within 1 traffic light of a bar. Those poor people have 2 traffic lights to get to a bar. We don't need any more. I think that's clear. You don't have to outright repeal those sections. You could amend those sections to only apply to the West End. No more bars in the West End. If the rest of the city wants bars, let them have all the bars they want. Let's stand up for something. That's why you have a court council. You fight laws, you go to Albany, whatever. We don't need more bars in the West End. We don't need to make it any easier for anybody to open a bar there. Good evening. I think I'm within my 3 minutes.
Good evening, Council. My name is Elizabeth Pence. I live in the West End. So I have been in Long Beach since the 80s. I remember Chauncey's. And we do have a lot of bars. And, you know, I think that we've grown from the 80s. We've become such a vibrant city. And we're just not there anymore. I mean, the 80s were awful, I think. But
Speak for yourself.
you know, but now you look at the boardwalk and you see how beautiful we have made Long Beach, and children are in Long Beach, and I don't think you need to be drinking by the boardwalk. I just don't think it's healthy, and I think that we have really good lifeguards, but they leave, and after hours, people, you know, you don't make good choices. So I think it's going down a bad road. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, good guy. The black jacket, yeah, or blue. Oh, John.
Yes.
I don't see that well.
Get your glasses, man. Yeah, this is I'm John McQuaid. Just here in support of what you're doing tonight. I've seen a lot of comments online, and I have heard concerns around town regarding this change to the city charter. I think the simplest approach is to be honest about its results and acknowledge how drinking culture as a whole has changed. Most of these ordinances were put in place nearly half a century ago, and it did come from real concerns, but it also seems kind of emotional. The truth is, it did not fix the problem. Irresponsible drinking didn't go away, it just moved. It went to the beach, went to the side streets, it went to people's houses, and those full block takeovers in the West End. Since 1986, when these were enacted, the number of drinking establishments have not just dipped, but they're a fraction of what they used to be. That change is not the result of the ordinance. It comes from the broader shift away from drinking. This charter catered to that time period where drinking establishments were pretty much on every corner. This proposal isn't about opening up the floodgates. It's about correcting an approach that hasn't worked the way it was intended to, and it needs to evolve. When you restrict things too broadly, you don't eliminate the behavior, you just push it into less controlled spaces where there's less oversight and more of the problems people are worried about. What this does is bring some of that activity back into regulated, accountable environments with staff, rules, and real consequences. This gives the city more control and allows for stronger enforcement everywhere. Beyond that, we need to talk about what Long Beach actually is. Our greatest asset is the beach. That's what brings people to this community. But we haven't fully aligned our policies with what people expect when they come here. OTs come here expecting a certain kind of experience, and that isn't for a cold cup of water. When that expectation doesn't match reality, they begin wandering our neighborhoods where we don't want that activity, or they don't spend their money here. We should be capturing that energy in the right places and not pushing it into the wrong ones. This doesn't have to be the final step either. We're making changes in the ordinance. We can always make changes in the future, but sticking with something that hasn't worked isn't moving us forward. We're an island with only so much space, and it's almost entirely surrounded by residential neighborhoods. At a certain point, it just makes sense that the boardwalk is the best middle ground to handle noise and crowds in a way that keeps things controlled and away from people's houses. Our economy's been stuck in a bit of a NIMBY mindset that holds back our biggest drivers, which is tourism and alcohol-based businesses. I would love to know what other industries have grown in the last 40 years that haven't been as prosperous as this industry. If we don't manage the experience people are coming for, it's going to manage us.
Thank you very much. Get you next, Mike.
Good evening, my name is Stephanie Sennett. I am a resident at 10 West. My name is Stephanie Sennett. I'm a resident of 10 West. I'm also an attorney, so I'm familiar with how laws and ordinances are drafted. My concern with the ordinance is what another gentleman brought up, is that this is a total repeal. This isn't just an amendment, and when you first addressed us, you brought up issues of great concern, i.e., what time are they going to close, right? What time are they going to be open? How long are they going to be allowed to serve alcohol? What are they going to do if something happens, right? So we can't rely on third-party contracts to manage things that happen in the city. Saying, oh, well, we have a lease agreement that only lets us serve alcohol until 10 or 11 o'clock doesn't change the fact that that lease agreement can be changed, right? They can say, we're going to amend this, we're going to allow it to go until midnight. The idea that there's a proprietor that says, well, I want to be home by 10 o'clock at night, well, he says that now, but what happens if he makes $1 million in one day? And he's like, no, you want to know what? I don't need to be home by 10. I'll go home by midnight. We don't have a law now, if you're going to repeal this in its entirety, that manages these issues. We don't have, you said, well, no one intends to open a club. Well, where is it in the law that says no one can open a club? These are all issues that you already foresee and that are not being addressed by the total repeal of this. In addition, you know, a 10-foot bar, a 10-foot service bar, those are minor changes that can be made. Change it to a 20-foot bar, right? You said that there have been variances granted. I don't know why that would change, why variances can't continue to be granted. You guys talked about how the Alegria has been 17 years old with no enforcement. What guarantees do we have that if somebody moves in and does the same thing, that it's going to be enforced then? What happens if somebody comes in and serves alcohol until 2 or 3 a.m.? Right? If you're not enforcing it now, how can you say, well, we'll enforce it in the future? My understanding too is that Riptides is considering putting in a second floor bar. That changes the whole trajectory of things and changes the way that people are going to view this. A separate entrance, we're going to have the food in a different place, but there are other things that we've already seen are anticipated to occur, and a total repeal of this doesn't anticipate that, and these are just going to be problems that are going to cost a ton of money to deal with, and that are going to be continuous. For example, I like tequila. Tequila is wonderful. Why wouldn't I'm here for that. But the reality is that these are the laws. Asking for forgiveness instead of permission is not really appropriate in this particular area. We have laws for a reason.
The laws are what they are. While I understand, oh, well, we'd like to do this, well, that's not what the law is. You shouldn't be able to disregard a law and demand that it be changed to suit you when that's not what the community is founded upon. Striking this law doesn't make it more reasonable or more understandable. It makes it more ambiguous. We don't know what the parameters are. We aren't sure what's going to be allowed to be done, and that should be considered.
Thank you very much. Councilman Ford, you have another question.
Good evening, council members. Mike Delory.
Mike.
Long Beach. I'm here tonight as president of the Westmoreland Walks Civic Association. We had our monthly civic meeting last night at the VFW in Long Beach.
I know it's usually on Wednesdays. What happened?
We moved it because of the holidays, Passover, Easter. Plus I was not attending. Please have 15 seconds over here. The geographic area of the Civic Association is New York Avenue to the west, Magnolia Boulevard to the east, Ocean to Bay. Our meetings are open to everyone. It was a lively and intelligent discussion, and there were opinions from both sides, and every seat was filled. I want to share with you an email sent to the city manager and President Finn from one of our members.
I got quite a few.
Good morning. I am writing to respectfully request that you table the proposed amendment regarding alcohol sales, bar number restrictions, and limitations on service bars. I ask that these distinctly different proposals be separated into 3 new resolutions. Each topic requires a more thorough analysis and the development of specific parameters and restrictions. As currently written, the resolution is too broad and vague, and I am concerned it will allow for a rapid expansion of establishments before proper controls are in place. Furthermore, I urge City Council members who are owners, married to owners, or have a vested interest in boardwalk restaurants or bars within the city to recuse themselves from voting on this matter. Participating in this vote raises serious ethical concerns and suggests an appearance of impropriety. Thank you for your hard work on behalf of our community. I reiterate my request that you table the resolution as it is currently proposed. That was said by a member of the Westmoreland Walk Citizens Association.
Can you share with us who it is?
Additionally.
So that person got to speak without saying who they were?
Well, I am going to, I had their permission to read this, by the way.
No, I mean, we want to know who that person is too, because
Okay.
when you get up to speak, you say who you are.
You're going to...
It was emailed to you.
It was emailed, by the way, and her name is on it. Okay. The list of WWCA members who submitted statements in opposition at last night's WWCA meeting are, in alphabetical order, Pam Banks Davis, Celeste Bartels, Pat Donato, Linda Giles, Stephen Goldfeder, Eileen Hession, Virginia Cavanaugh, Michael Cluse, Kevin Littlefield, Kevin McCoy, Alfred McKean, Colleen McKean, Thomas O'Brien, Erica O'Cone, Andrew Opperman, Cammy Rain, Cynthia Rossi, John Rossi, Bernie Schulak, Lynn Toomey, William Toomey, Tom Zimmerman, Helen Naylor. Thank you for your time. I am a messenger, and
Do you have anybody who's in favor of it at the meeting? I don't know what was there.
we had, well, there were people, and if you want to allow me with the discussion, the one question when people asked are, what's different between the Allegria and O'Berman, or whatever that is in certain instances, boardwalk concessions, the landlord of those buildings is the city of Long Beach, where those properties are private business owners. So therefore, you collectively, when the landlord itself is the governing body changing a rule and regulation that can impact, there is substantial concern I'll call it.
But thank you, Mike, I appreciate that, but I just asked you about were there any people in favor, that's my question.
Of course, yeah, I do. There were, but I don't know. who they
Oh,
were.
you just know the antis, okay.
No, because the antis are the ones that filled it out.
I got it, okay. Thank you.
I have to say, people were, many were supportive of it. There were conversations, they could come up and support it or oppose it.
Okay, all right.
I am a messenger.
All right, thank you, Mike.
And I have put a hand in their,
Appreciate it.
their shoes. All right?
Okay.
Madam Clerk? This is. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, everyone. First of all, it's my first city council meeting. I'm embarrassed to say that.
All right.
I'm a little nervous as well.
You've got good support back with Terry, so.
I do. I always do. Thank you very much, Brendan. First of all, I would like to.
Your name.
Your
name.
Sorry, my name is Mary McNamara. I live at 41 Maryland Avenue, and I'm a newbie at about almost 30 years. So I'm here tonight because I'm here from my heart. And I think these two issues are very important, and I think they do need to be centered. I don't understand a service bar. I don't know what that means to this community. I don't know what it means to a bar business. I won't pretend that I know that. But what I do, and what I don't think we're talking about here, is that we're talking about the fundamental use of our public spaces. Ocean Beach Park, it's a park. It is not a business, it is our park. And while many people are concerned about what happens to people after they drink, I'm not really concerned about that. I'm concerned about my use of the boardwalk. I'm concerned about my children, their children, all of our neighbors using that as a golden thoroughfare. How does that say? Thoroughfare? Thoroughfare.
Yeah, right.
Through our town. Right now, we can't get through that boardwalk. In this summertime, it is always busy. You've got now police officers stopping, slowing people down. People don't understand bike lane. Nobody understands the bike lane in this town. So now you put alcohol on top of that. And now you have I just think of my children riding down that boardwalk. I knew they were safe there. I knew that that was where everyone was going to see them. And now that is not appealing to our town people. Everyone in Long Beach who wants to drink has it in their cooler. These are about out-of-towners who need to have a drink near the beach. So I am concerned about the look. I'm concerned about, I don't even want to say safety. I am concerned about what this does to a park that we care about. It's our jewel. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to talk about a park that we're now saying should be selling alcohol right inside. And that's why I'm here.
All right, thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Mary
I'd like
Howard.
to speak into the.
Hi, my name is Sydney Sharp. I've been a lifelong resident and I'm 27 years old. I just think that it would be nice to be able to go to the boardwalk, get a drink. You can do it anywhere else. I mean, you go visit all these other places, you go to Jones Beach, like we've heard people say, and you can get a drink anywhere. And I also we have Salties. Like Salties is right by the beach too. You can walk right over. Even if you're at the bars like Jetty, you can walk right over to the beach, and I don't think there's any difference with that. So it'd be nice if we could get a drink at the boardwalk. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Judy. Happy birthday, by the way.
Isn't this how I always want to spend a birthday?
I'm sorry. I wish I knew earlier today. I would have wished you earlier.
I have some information for you guys, which I made 8 copies. So
Thank you.
As well as
You're more than generous.
as well as the rest of you.
Thank you, Karen.
Again, in there you're going to find documentation from the state liquor authority of what they anticipate or expect of their premises. Mr. Kolminsky is totally correct. They are, without a doubt, the preemptive body. They set all the rules. Some of the rules, however, you will see are in conflict with what we've done. okay? They demand that the city of Long Beach, for example, gives an extension to the zoning board of a bar longer than 10 feet. I'm not saying I agree with it, disagree with it. I'm saying their preemption is that they need to be notified to get permission from the leasing. So that stuff is in there because for you guys, because the city of Long Beach owns those properties. Properties are not owned by the leasees. So my understanding, and I'm certainly not a legal lawyer, and neither is Greg, I believe, but we do know more than we wanted to probably about it, okay? But what I'm trying to say is that my understanding, and from the reading of the SLA regulations, which is another thing which I never had to do, is that the license goes with brick and mortar. In other words, the city of Long Beach will in perpetuity be in the alcohol business. You will own, whether it's 4 or 5, however many of the concessions are publicly owned, which I think there are 4, maybe 5. You will own it. You will own that license. It does not transfer to the leasee. It stays with the brick and mortar. So if the council changes or the leasee changes, it doesn't matter. The next person can still apply for a license with or without your permission. So something I want you to consider, because it's going to wind up that the liability is on the city of Long Beach. And so what do we do about that? Because if you're going to go ahead with this, you need to take, before I say that, let me ask you if you would consider carrying over this hearing as an open hearing to the next city council meeting, because it's a vacation week. I can't tell you how many calls and emails from people, and this is why we want you to come to our meetings, because 3 minutes just won't cut it at all.
Thank you, Judy. I appreciate your advocacy for what you do.
Well, the advocacy is to keep our kids safe.
Okay.
It's not aspersions on anyone. I'm not in favor or disfavor of any of these establishments. I'm concerned that the city of Long Beach is now going to be the alcohol business, and it's going to cost you money because there are very instances.
I had to hold everybody else to the 3 minutes.
Okay.
Including people I used to work for.
And the last thing I'm going to say is that we're going to need a lot more police. Have you factored that into it? We're going to need a lot more of everybody to contain what you're considering doing.
Thank you very much. Got the baseball cap.
Hello, my name's Lucas. I live at 660 East Olive Street. I'm a Long Beach lifeguard.
Get your name, I'm sorry.
Lucas Pace. I'm a Long Beach lifeguard, but I'm not here on behalf of the Long Beach lifeguards. I'm here on behalf of myself. I personally don't have any issue with any of the amendments or the resolutions brought forward today, but my primary concern is the safety of our first responders. I have had unfortunate situations. I was on the beach last year, and there were 2 people stuck in a riptide, and I called 911, and unfortunately Nassau County Police did not answer the call, and it was
the same riptides, though.
Oh no, they were like in like a rip current, yeah. It was on Monroe Beach, but
I knew what you meant.
Yeah,
I wanted to just get that joke out there.
yeah, but I hope that should the city council approve this, that there's a plan in place to have more first responders and to have backup ways to keep us safe and to keep my coworkers safe. Usually there's only 4 lifeguards on the shift after, and if you're gonna have people drinking on the beach, it can be an issue where if you only have 4 people and you're waiting for people to respond from fire headquarters, it's additional time, and you have kids my age who are making decent wage but not much, stuck and waiting for fire department officials to show up. I would say, while I don't have an issue, please consider it further, create a detailed safety plan so that other people are, me, my coworkers are all safe, and our fire department is safe, and our police officers, and yeah, that's it. Thank you, guys.
Well said. And, with the blue baseball cap, yes, that's you, yeah.
Good evening, Mr. President, City Council members. My name is Mike Murphy. I live at 10 Golden Street, Long Beach, New York. If we all take a look, we can't right now, but if we all take a look outside, you could see the boardwalk. You could see it's $1 million view. I'm sober over 30 years. I would like to take my wife on the boardwalk for a ride at sunset, have a drink. I'll have a soda, she'll have a drink, and enjoy that $1 million view. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. The second thing, we're talking about people drowning and this and that. How many people are on that fucking, excuse my language, how many people are on that boardwalk that are riding their bikes that save people? You got lifeguards on that boardwalk 24/7. Come on. Let's take a look at this. Let's move forward into the new year. Let's have fun. It's 2026. What's the problem with somebody having a couple of drinks on the boardwalk? You go to Rockaway. What happens in Rockaway? They have drinks. Do you hear people drowning? No, you don't. You don't. You don't. You don't. Jones Beach. You got, when there's no lifeguards on, you got 100 lifeguards on. So that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chuck Carr, 41 Arizona Avenue. I can't make I live on the West End. You know, I can just give you a little example. Used to be a bar called Tiki, the Tiki bar down there. It got closed down for violations, failure to, underage drinking, and they found that the owner was defiant, right? There's a huge difference between going to the Allegria or a high-end restaurant and having a drink with your meal, right? When the Jetty took over, there was no more problems. When there was new ownership over there and it wasn't a drinking establishment filled with underage kids, we had no issues. I've never called on anybody in my life. But when I'm out on that boardwalk and you tell me, oh no, it's gonna be different, we're gonna police it this time, and I'm smelling marijuana when I'm up there with a 4-year-old, right? Come on, let's be real about this. What can you enforce and can't? There's a big difference between a concession stand and a high-end restaurant. And I could live with myself if I run by there every day, which I do, and I know it's gonna bring the hate from the locals, I don't care, because if I had to run by this and I see somebody drinking or a fight break out in a bike lane or anything like that, and I know I just let it happen and I didn't say anything, you'll do what you're gonna do, but I'm against it. Thank you.
Get there in the back row. Yes, you, put your hand up, yes. Yes.
Hello, good evening. Lynn Petey and Price, 711 West Dollar Street. My name. Oh, sorry. Lynn Petey and Price, 711 West Dollar Street. My question is, I don't understand why these two items are bundled together. To Mike's point, and we were at the Walks in the West Homes meeting yesterday, and are we opening the cap so we're allowing the concession stands on the boardwalk to have access to certain alcohol? Like, why are we opening the cap?
The answer is no,
Okay, and then what is the purpose of opening the cap?
because it's in conflict with the SLA.
There's no cap. There isn't a cap.
I thought there was a cap
It's
on the
something
amount of
that's-
alcohol.
It said there is no new bars unless the new bar has a service bar of 10 feet or less.
Okay.
So that's why I said in the beginning, and this is helpful just to say now, the city cannot regulate the amount of bars, how alcohol is served, the hours of operation of establishments itself. It can't do any of that, period. It's illegal. Like, if the council asked me to do something like that, I wouldn't sign it. I wouldn't do it, because I know that it's not legal. See, it's clear. It's one of the few things that's very clear in the law. So that's why we're getting rid of the 10-foot bar requirement. It's illegal.
Okay, I see that. I think everyone kind of missed that a little bit there. But yeah, thank you for clarifying that. And then when it comes to the concession stands on the boardwalk, is there a thought about like limitations? Maybe it's just table service, or maybe it's just up to 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. Are we considering something like that to make sure that it doesn't get rowdy and out of control?
Absolutely.
Yes. So as long as those things are being considered, I think it's fair enough that our concession stands, somebody could go pay $50 for a drink at one of the concession stands, or you bring your 12-pack of Bud Lights to the beach. So I really don't see too much of a difference. I'm sorry?
Joking.
Oh. I drink White Claw. So, but yeah, so I really don't see as long as we're not thinking about opening more concession stands on the beach, is there a way to just make sure that the existing ones are grandfathered in, and there's not one on every single block going forward on the boardwalk?
That's a good point.
Yeah. So maybe something like that could be in consideration as well, and table service only, as well as a limitation of time and a maximum capacity.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are my thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right, the yellow hat, you, yes, okay. I'm sorry, I can't see that far back.
It's actually Coyote Brown. Hi, Liz Knockman, 170 West Broadway.
I didn't know it was you back there, sorry.
Oh, it's
about
me,
that.
yeah.
Yes, right, got you.
There you go.
It was the Coyote Brown cap that did me,
Threw you off. Couple things. One is I do live on the boardwalk, and it's already very loud and noisy and crazy, and my concern that someone brought up is we will definitely need more police, because there should be police on the boardwalk every night now, because the kids love screaming, smoking pot right in front of my building. You can smell it all the way up to the 5th floor. I do have concerns about opening up more drinking establishments. Like someone else said, there's plenty throughout Park Avenue, in the West End, where I drink all the time, and I'm just, not all the time, and I'm just concerned about having more. Are we considering maybe just beer and wine service? I spend months, every month I go to Florida, I go to Sarasota, there's no drinking on the beach there. So yes, in the village there's drinking, but it is illegal to drink on the beach there. Like Long Beach, when you're cleaning the beach in the morning, there are beer cans everywhere. So the garbage that people don't know how to bring to the garbage bins is definitely going to increase, and people do not clean up after themselves. I kind of I don't understand bringing up the Alegria. If they don't have a legal license for all these years, then why have they been open all these years? I mean, it seems ridiculous to me to bring anything up. I was there the day they opened, and I think when the original owner took it on, I don't think they would have opened a bar if he didn't think he could open one. With Tulum, I don't know the story about that, but I presume it's similar to the same thing. If you're opening a restaurant, you kind of go through that idea first, of am I going to get a liquor license? My friend in Front Lookout took her a long time to get a liquor license. They had a liquor license. That wasn't the question. Okay. They had a liquor license. Okay, so they have a liquor license, so you would think they would be able to serve. But with the Alegria and Tulum, maybe we just consider thinking, maybe we table this for a little bit, or maybe we consider just beer and wine and not spirits, for these other establishments that are considering it. But people are, as we know, they have their red Solo cups during the day anyway. The cans are all over the place. And I'm concerned about not having enough police force. And I know we mentioned security for riptides. That's fine, but you need police on the boardwalk. Because we've seen what happens, we've seen it all the time. We've seen the drownings, I can see it from my terrace. And yeah, we have fantastic lifeguards. They are not with us 24/7. They, you know, and it all happens when they are off duty. So we need to do something to help our community and not make it more difficult for us. And keep Long Beach beautiful.
That's absolutely. I think so, is anyone from the library here? Yeah, you want to come up? Aren't you wishing I said this much earlier? Or did you just get here?
No, I've been here.
I'm kidding. I don't take attendance.
Good evening.
Make sure you speak into the
I
mic.
hope you enjoyed your stroll. David Hill, Alegria Hotel. And we're here to share since opening and serving alcohol. Since opening, we've operated without incident as an asset to the community, both financially and as an amenity to the guests. We were just recently made aware of this violation to the current codes. The ability for us as a business, as a contributor to the community, to be able to continue operating and stay in business is essential. Being able to offer beverages as part of the business model. And we do support this change in the two amendments to be able to continue providing service and amenities to the community and the locals. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Threw me off with that pink phone or whatever that is.
Because I always lose my phone.
Okay.
So I'm streaming just because the audio is down. So Nora E in Long Beach. So I was here back when this first became an issue, and I really don't have an opinion on it. My thing is to always follow the rules. So if you're changing the ordinance, I'm fine with that. My thing is, are we limiting to just the 5 current concessions on the boardwalk now? If we build another 1 or 2, will they be grandfathered in, or that's it, just 5?
That's, don't know the answer to
That's
that.
fine. So then my other thing is, if the Alegria has been in violation since the day they pretty much opened, and Mr. Kaminsky, you worked for the city for numerous years doing that, or during their time, how come nobody ever found a violation? And if they are in violation of the code, what are they going to end up paying us? Like, have they been issued with
There's
a
no
money amount?
formal violations.
So there's no formal violation?
In perusing the code, there was a section I saw with the opening to the Ocean Beach Park, which conflicts with the nature of their business and Tulum's proposed business.
Okay, so when the Alegria was sold, I think maybe 5 years ago, how come nobody found that? And I know the banks took it over, the state took it over for a while. Like, nobody ever found it. Why does things always slip through the cracks in Long Beach?
The Alegria was not a problem place. There has not been a problem there. So
I know.
No, I'm explaining. So this wasn't because they had a problem, nobody was looking into that. This was just a perusal of the ordinance and saying that the ordinance is actually conflicting with the State Liquor Authority. That's the point of this. It's really not about Alegria and Tulum Taco so much it is our ordinance needed to basically jive with the State Liquor Authority.
Okay. Okay, as a rule follower, you don't have to cause a problem. You have to follow the rules all the time, regardless if there's going to be a problem or not. If they are in violation, I think that they should have to pay some kind of a fee. Again, when the Breeze was going ahead, Engelberg or whatever it is, when they were going ahead, that issue should have been pointed out to them as well. But ultimately, it's up to the SLA whether the SLA will give out the license to me or to you or to whoever the next tenant on the boardwalk is. Unfortunately, I do think this whole issue has been turned into this horrible thing between a business on the boardwalk and the city. The city, it's the administration that is changing the code of ordinance. This is not an ask, as far as I'm aware, from any tenant on the boardwalk.
Right.
But I think that's what's out there on social media, and I think it's very unfair on both sides. Again, rule follower, it's not fair on people. Like, people should be allowed to come here, give an opinion, not against this one, that one, whatever. This was not an ask from any tenant. This is a change in the code.
That's right.
But I think what threw people off is an application was submitted back in November, and then this didn't come up until March. And that's where...
Not to us.
Yeah, no, well, it came up in the March meeting.
Right.
Yeah, so that's where there's a lot of contention. Look, I commute to the city for 2 hours every day. I love the drama on social media, it's great. But, you know, you gotta be fair to people and like not to turn it into you versus them or me versus
I totally agree with you.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. Yes.
Good evening. My name is Jack Goldus. I came to speak tonight, first of all, regarding the ordinance change, which I realize the explanation from council, from corporate council, is that there's no alternative, that this is something that is a fait accompli, it needs to be done. And I agree with that. And as far as that's concerned, I now want to speak a little about Riptides and the situation regarding Riptides and the possibility that they will be able to serve alcohol. I think the key word here is both my children, in fact all three of my children work in Long Beach, 2 on the boardwalk, 1 in Marvell, 1 in Riptides. My son's worked in Riptides since he's 14 years old. I've never met a 15-year-old that gets up on his own at 4 a.m. and rides his bike to the boardwalk to be at work with Mr. Bradish. And very impressive. And I wish I could take full credit for that, but I can't. I think a lot of the credit goes to Brian and Gina and the work that they do with the kids that work for them. They all come back. My son is a freshman in college. He'll be back this summer for his 5th year. And he looks forward to it every year. And he works just as hard. He's learned 2 things, trust and responsibility. Trust and responsibility are the key to what you're doing here today. People have entrusted you with a responsibility, and you have to transfer that trust and responsibility to members of the community and do the right thing. Brian and Gina are 2 people that always do the right thing for the community. They stand up, they do well for the kids, they've taught them trust and responsibility, and they've allowed them to build character. And it shows, because they run a tight ship, everything there, as the gentleman spoke, he went on the boardwalk at 4 o'clock in the morning, he sees kids power washing. You don't see that very often anywhere, and they do it with a smile on their face, and they do it willingly. And they're rewarded because they're learning and they're building character. And I think that's the key here, is that they're building character in the young people in Long Beach and teaching them to take responsibility and do what's right. And I think they deserve the trust of this body and the community to live up to that responsibility. And I think that giving the extra added responsibility of governing the alcohol sales and the activity of the people that they're selling alcohol to, I think that you'll see the result will be a positive result. So, thank you for the opportunity to speak. Thank you. And
Right, you got your hand up right there, yeah.
How are we doing? Members of the board, how are you doing this evening? Excellent. My name is Jason. I am a homeowner here in Long Beach over a decade, former business owner. I have children, older, younger. I'm not a daily drinker, obviously, but it would be nice to be able to go up onto the boardwalk, something that's really needed. There's not too many places that serve good food and you can actually have a drink. I ride the boardwalk every single day. I'm part retired. I'm up there every single day. And I would love to go up there with my wife, my children, stop, have a drink, look at the sun going down, maybe sometime during the day, bring my family that comes in from out of town, older children, to go up there. Like you all, I'm sure everybody drinks occasionally. How nice would it be to sit up there on the beach and be able to have a drink? And we can't do that anywhere. This town really needs something like that, and I'm all for it. And Brian runs an amazing business, and I'm sure with the local police standing out there by the beach, everybody will be protected. I mean, you have guys out there right now policing the beach, and people are coming in from out of town, bringing coolers and everything else. If anything, it's gonna bring the town more money because you have more police out there giving tickets, so on and so forth. That goes on. So I'm all for it, and I hope you guys are for it too. I appreciate the time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Your wife? Yes, right there. Oh, okay. Lana? We'll do the time. Whoever gets it first. You'll be next, okay? You'll be next. Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't have a baseball cap, but thank you for picking me.
That was the last person.
My name is Lois Lutwin. I live at 115 West Olive Street. I don't think I'm a newbie. I'm here for 75 years. I think what the gentleman said in front of me is wonderful about how his children learned respect and hard work is excellent. But there's other children besides his children. There's lots of kids, teenagers who don't need more places to drink. Of course, they're going to do it illegally sometimes anyway, but now it would be legal for them. I'm wondering, I never commented on something else. You related Long Beach to being in competition with Jones Beach, Reese Park. Jones Beach doesn't have a community of people living here. This is a community. It's not just a block of families with children. Children who ride 5 in a row on bikes in darkness, kids who ride on the boardwalk, kids who just ride up and down every street. 6 of them are on a bike sometimes, 3 on a bike. No helmets, nothing, earphones. They don't have a chance with people extra drunk driving. There's no community at Reese Park. It's a giant parking lot. So we can't compare Long Beach to those communities at all. My question is, are we rushing into this for the summer? For this summer? Because it seems like there are really some very big issues here that have to be taken section by section by section and split and planned for ahead of time. And I don't think that this is something that we should rush into that quickly. They're big decisions, and sadly, with the drunk driving, sadly with people going into the ocean when they shouldn't, there are horrible things that do happen. And I don't think we need to increase the possibilities of those things happening. Once every year, there's a riot on the beach. I think we're going to increase that a lot more when kids feel they can come down and be able to drink openly and not have to bring it themselves. So those are my points.
Thank you.
And I hope you consider them.
Christine McKenna, good evening, Council. I would like to say that small businesses are the key to Long Beach, and it's what makes our community unique. We are the only waterfront community, and when I say community, it's where people live, not Reese Park and the other places that individuals have referred to. We are the only waterfront community, from the Rockaways to Fire Island to the Hamptons, that has limited waterfront dining and a plethora of restrictions on alcohol. This has negatively impacted our city, and I greatly applaud you for taking the time to consider making changes to our laws. Our water is our greatest asset, and we should all benefit from it. And the city, the business owners, specifically the small business owners. Brian and Gina come from families that have lived in Long Beach for over 100 years and have worked to build Long Beach to where it is today. They and other small business owners, such as Greg LaPena, who owns 3 businesses on the boardwalk, have a vested interest in our community. They hire locals, they hire teams, they work together to build a better Long Beach. That should be our goal, working together to build a better Long Beach. Their heart and love of the community is the drive that continues to make our local businesses have the good vibes where people can enjoy themselves. There are those in Long Beach that do not understand what the Long Beach community is about. We're about heart, we're about soul, we're about being neighborly, but there are those that are filled with rage, greed, selfishness, and they do not have support for our businesses and are out for themselves. This does not describe the Long Beach community that we live in and that who we are as neighbors. I look forward to having a frozen drink this summer, maybe a cold beer on a hot summer day while I enjoy tacos at Riptides. They have been a long-standing establishment. Now is the time to make a change. Alcohol on the premises, on the boardwalk, within a controlled setting in Long Beach where people can enjoy alcohol responsibly, now is the time. Because Long Beach's waterfront is our greatest asset. Together, we can build a better Long Beach for the people that love and care for this community while allowing small businesses to thrive at the same time as preserving a fun family atmosphere. This is about protecting small businesses and continuing to come together, being the Long Beach community we are, where we support each other. Cheers to Long Beach Strong.
Thank you very much. Yeah, gentlemen, yes.
Good evening. My name is Ralph Mizrahi. I live at 10 West. Assuming these laws pass and everyone gets their license and something happens terrible, something, a riot, it doesn't work, how quickly can you rescind this and change it back? Or is that in the agenda? Is that possible? A good question, I don't know.
It said that one of the ordinances is illegal, so I wouldn't recommend putting it back. It's illegal.
No, let's say they get all their licenses and there's liquor on the boardwalk, right? And there's riots every night, and it doesn't work out.
No. I began by saying,
Maybe I'm
there's no liquor or open containers allowed on the boardwalk. No, that's not the case.
Okay, in the secure area, they're allowed liquor. Okay,
If
if
they
it
are.
expands and for some reason it's not controlled and it's out of control and this thing doesn't work and people drown on the beach and there's accidents everywhere and there's noise complaints, how do you rescind this? How do you reverse it if you see it's not working?
This happens everywhere.
I know, but how do you do it? How does this committee do it?
Just make a statement because I can't answer questions like that, so, thank you.
What's the law?
You have.
How quickly can this be? The next meeting?
The State Liquor Authority regulates and governs alcohol sales in New York State.
Okay, but this is a local issue right here, right?
It's all the same, but.
I don't understand.
Okay, sure.
If there is a fight in an establishment, the police are called, and I don't know the exact rule, but there was a strike against the bar. Numerous fights at bars closed, not by the city, but by the police department, I believe, along the right lines. Maybe somebody can clarify that for me. Stephen, would you mind? Thank you.
Stephen Chinaski, Deputy Inspector of Long Beach Police. There's been a lot of mention of the State Liquor Authority and Alcohol Beverage Control Law. The Alcohol Beverage Control Law deals with just about all of these issues. There's several of us that are extensively trained in it by the SLA proper. The vast majority of fines under the State Liquor Authority's Alcohol Beverage Control Law are about $10,000 each. Some of those issues that you could get summons for would be permitting off-premise consumption. So as the council was saying to you, sir, they're allowed to serve within the confines of their liquor license on the premise. If they allow someone, or if someone even walks off their premise with an alcoholic beverage, they get a summons for permitting off-premise consumption. With regard to that, that goes back to the security issue, okay? it's incumbent on the licensed premise to have adequate New York State licensed security guards to ensure that that doesn't happen, to ensure they don't have a disorderly premise. If there's a fight inside the bar, regardless of who started it, whose fault it was, that's considered a disorderly premise, and that warrants a referral to the state liquor authority. So all of these laws are geared, all of these rules under the alcohol beverage control law are geared to placing all that responsibility on the license holder. And there's also a section in the alcohol beverage control law that says that if a premise becomes a drain on the local resources, that is also in and of itself a violation.
So how many
Thank
violations?
you. No, excuse me. This is not a question and answer.
You asked them to answer me, I'm answering them back. What-
Right, but we don't want to have a debate.
How many violations?
Sir, just finish your statement, and that's it.
My statement is, how many violations
That's a
constitute
question.
a rescinding of the license? Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think I recognize you. How are you, Brett?
I'm good, how you doing?
Good.
My name is Brett Dondy. Brett Dondy, 175 West Broadway, been in Long Beach for 60 years. Used to do gin mills up and down the West End. Seen a lot of drinking, a lot of partying. The only question I really have is, all the bars, all the restaurants have facilities to drink at. You go down to the Jetty, you can go inside. They have tables around the outside. You go to the Cabana, they have inside, they have tables inside. You go to the Alegria, it's inside. Where are the concessions on the boardwalk? You're gonna serve alcohol, you're gonna get more business. Where are these people gonna sit and drink and eat?
It's a good question, but I just want to make this clear. This is really just about Tulum Taco and Alegria. We haven't gotten to anything else. There were no, this is not a hearing on those other places, okay? I mean, it's not.
Well, that should be considered, because if you do pass this law,
absolutely,
that's something that's gonna happen.
I don't mean to cut you off, but what I'm saying is we're talking about hypotheticals.
Okay.
We're not there yet. That's the point.
Well, it should be considered.
Thank you. Thank you, Brett. Thank you. In the back? Yeah.
Thank you. Mike Kloss, I reside at 240 West Olive in Long Beach. I've been here for many decades, my wife's family before that. First of all, before I briefly make the statement I wanted to make, the ordinance that you're passing goes beyond Tulum, it goes beyond Alegria. It is far-reaching. And the truth is, if that's what we want to address, these are private institutions whose buildings abut the boardwalk. These are not properties that we own as concessions. And Alegria, as Mr. Kalinsky said, has a license from the State Liquor Authority to serve liquor. For those of you who don't know, the Alegria is not a mom and pop operation. It's owned by a multi-billion-dollar real estate investment trust, who I am sure are very well aware of the State Liquor Authority. And they would not be operating if they couldn't legally do so.
That's correct.
Tulum is a privately owned property who happens to abut the city of Long Beach. They will apply the same as the Alegria did to the State Liquor Authority. So they really are a big issue only because there is a slight difference in the city of Long Beach ordinance. So why this ordinance was said by a number of people, we should only be dealing with that issue, okay? And it was actually the city of Long Beach that allowed openings from these buildings onto the boardwalk, which I never understood. We could have easily said, you could abut the boardwalk, but you have to use one of the entrances to come around, and that issue goes away. The reason that I don't like this ordinance, and the reason for many decades this ordinance came into effect, was because we had a place called Turquoise, we had Chauncey's, we had drunkenness, we had lewdness, we had all types of problems with people on the beach. On the boardwalk, as some of the owners say, the city was unable to deal with that issue. And these ordinances were passed to protect the people in the city of Long Beach. Now, we talk about enforcement. I am against this broad ordinance. I do not think we should allow the concessionaires, which are property that are owned by Long Beach, to be serving alcohol directly on the boardwalk.
Okay.
Those people will consume the alcohol, they'll be given paper cups. I was at the Civic Association meeting, and they will then stroll on the
I'm sorry, but I
boardwalk.
told everyone else to the time period, I have to
Okay.
hold you to it. So thank you very much.
They will be drunken on the boardwalk.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving me the time.
You got your hand up there? Yes.
Hi, my name is Olivia Logan. I live on Connecticut Avenue. I'm born in Long Beach, raised in Long Beach. I got engaged on the Long Beach Boardwalk. I'm getting married in St. Ignatius. We had an engagement party at the Jetty. My fiance and I go to the boardwalk every weekend. He's a detective in the city, so we just, in Rockaway, yes, there is drinking on the beaches. We love this city. We love the boardwalk. And I think it would just be nice to have a place. It's going to be, as far as all the plans, everything is contained. It's not, I think a lot of people I've spoken today make it seem like it's going to be a wild free-for-all. Every incident that could occur has already kind of been looked out for, where it's going to be in a contained space. I know there's been talk about a certain age for the drinking. There's a time limit. Everywhere else does it. I think local business people should be able to benefit from this. As far as the alcohol concerns that people have, I do understand there are concerns with alcohol close to the boardwalk, but what's to stop someone from going to the West End and walking down the street and walking into the ocean? There's no lifeguards there. People live there. What's to stop that from happening? I don't understand. And Gina and Brian work really hard, not just them, but I also think that people have a vendetta against them. The post on Facebook from anonymous penguin and anonymous iguana, whatever you want to call yourself, if you're going to say all these nasty personal things about someone, then I think you should sign your name to it. But that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Is now.
Okay.
My name is Ed Walpole, 429 West Park Avenue. I'm here today to speak in favor of approving the concession stand selling alcohol. I believe these businesses are well-run with business owners that are responsible and considerate of their neighbors. I see them in the summertime working diligently to keep their areas of business clean, including the boardwalk. I personally haven't witnessed any issues with any of these businesses. I believe these business owners would be responsible, safe, and considerate of their neighbors and their communities. So I'm in favor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
John Sweary. I'm an out-of-towner from Olympic Beach. But we spend, over the years, a fortune of money eating here all the time, eating out. I happened to go to the West Home meeting last night, just to check it out, get a vibe of what's going on. And there was about 40 people at the most, mostly elderly folks, which was not, excuse me? 50, okay. Maybe 40. Mostly elderly people, which was nice to see, but what kind of concerned me was there was a lot of lack of information. They didn't seem very informed, and there was some misinformation being thrown around, which I found it was weird. It wasn't about drinking on the boardwalk. It was somebody actually, one of the guest speakers, I guess you would call him, he got up and said, and they tried to whip people into a frenzy, and Brian's going to be serving alcohol on all his picnic benches on the boardwalk. And it seems so inappropriate. Obviously, I don't think a lot of the people know that it's like Sherry Blossom has a liquor, she serves liquor, you wouldn't even know. You go in there, I don't see anybody drink. West End Pizza has a tap. I've never seen one person drink. And you know what, if it rains every day in the summer, yeah, if it rains every day, Brian, Gina, and Greg, and whoever, they're not gonna make a dime. So, with the places about this big that they have to make some money in, they're gonna serve some overpriced drinks, if I had to guess. And I think that somebody else got up and tried to compare, he did it tonight, I didn't want to mention his name, but he tried to compare Chauncey's to Riptides on the beach. And it was like, what the? I don't know, I'd say give it a shot. You want to shut down the drinking on the beach? If that's what you care about, let's address the volleyball games with the truckloads of beer that roll up on the beach and everybody's drinking. Nobody has a problem with it. I don't drink, but I go to Riptides often, and I get hit for my $5 coffees and my egg sandwiches. So I mean, give it a shot. Look at this place; it's booming. You got what, 5 places on the boardwalk? Give it a shot. What do you got to lose? If somebody steps out of line, the cops are going to be writing people tickets. That's how you want to make some money? Well, maybe somebody will take a cup and throw it on the ground. Get some cops to write some tickets. But start with the volleyball games. Okay? Anyway, good luck.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'll get you next, Liz. I didn't see your hand up.
Eileen Hessian, Long Beach. First of all, I'd like to say that anyone who's ever been on the boardwalk and has seen Brian Bradish working knows that he is an excellent employer and that his business is an excellent, clean, and purposefully good business. He's excellent. I don't think we have to say anything about him. I have never heard anybody denigrate him, and that is not what this is about. It's not about him. And we keep mentioning Riptides, but it's about all 5 of the businesses on the boardwalk. Many people have said that they enjoy the sunset, the sunrise with a drink. I don't think you need to have a drink to enjoy the sunrise.
Sunrise, yes.
Sorry.
I get it at 4:30. So.
Yeah. I usually come up here about money, and I'd like to talk about money.
All right.
This benefits, right now, 5 businesses. The ones on the boardwalk. That's all. It does not benefit the restaurants in the city. It might hurt them because people will be on the beach rather than drinking in their restaurants. They're more expensive restaurants. It only benefits those 5 people. So when you talk about small business, there are lots of small businesses up here. They are not getting any benefit from them. The taxpayers are not getting any benefit because, as we heard from so many people tonight, we're going to need more police, more sanitation workers, more lifeguards. We don't want to have special police. We want real police to be there if we need them. And then also, since you can't bring the drink out onto the boardwalk, they have to expand their businesses because there's nowhere to sit inside and drink, or very few seats. So one business mentioned building a second story, and another business mentioned building a deck. Since the city owns these buildings, who pays for that deck? The city?
No,
Who?
it depends on who wants to do it, but I can't do a Q&A there because there's just too many people.
I know, and that's why this should definitely be stopped. Because we don't have enough information, and you know, I don't care about the drinking on the beach, to be honest, on the boardwalk. That's not the part that gets me. The part that gets me is everything that you crossed out there. When Nora came up and asked, will the other, if other places open up, will they get, there are no restrictions. There are no restrictions on anything. Somebody asked you about hours and other things, and you said those things will be considered. Well, when? If this passes, you really don't have to consider anything after that. It's passed. I mean, maybe we will get the liability could also cost us more money. If you're so interested in having a drink on the boardwalk, watching the sunset, then bring your own solo cup. It's been done.
You just gotta hide it from the cops, right?
Yeah, not that hard.
Don't tell them. Depends on the cop.
Also,
If it was Pedals McKinney, what, ring a bell there?
the beach is our greatest asset, and that is true. Anytime we have a drowning, God forbid, it's the worst thing that happens for our city, and alcohol can only exacerbate that.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yes. Oh, Liz, right, okay. I've had a rough day right now.
Judy? Thank you, sir. Liz Treston, Long Beach, New York. Honestly, you're confusing us because you're saying one thing and then you're saying another. So, is this about, what's your case, Brendan? I apologize. Is this about West End businesses? Is this about concession stands? Or is this just about businesses abutting the boardwalk?
I'll answer that for you. So
Okay.
there's two things, all right? One of them applies citywide, and one of them applies just to the boardwalk. The one that applies to the boardwalk says, if you have property north of the Ocean Beach Park, and you have an opening to your property on the boardwalk, you can only serve food and non-alcoholic beverages.
Right.
So what the council is doing is taking away the non-alcoholic and permitting all the beverage sales, because, you know, the Allegoria has been doing it, and Tulum wants to open and do it as well.
Right.
All right?
If
So,
I could just interrupt 1 second. But to me, and in 2017, and I mean, it was voted upon then, that those are private businesses. They are not on the boardwalk. They abut on to the boardwalk. The Allegoria serves, as someone said, the ground side, and Tulum is up in the air with the ramp, and it's off the boardwalk.
they have,
I just want to say, this has nothing to do with Brookside and Brian and Gina. They do a great job with all the kids. This is, and no one's mentioned this, and I'm hoping, Greg, that you can, is if you make this change, allowing alcohol on the boardwalk is going to trigger a New York State environmental, a CEQA. Because you're changing the use of the boardwalk.
No,
I'm not
so-
changing the use of the boardwalk.
So we began,
You're allowing alcohol on the boardwalk.
and we I said in the meeting, I said it, but I'll say it again. There will be no alcohol permitted on the boardwalk, no open containers on the boardwalk, no alcohol on the beach, no open containers on the beach. Okay?
And how, I'm going to just ask that again, because it's so confusing, it's also the last night of Passover, it's spring break, and a lot of people are not here. We haven't heard from any of the council members on how they feel, and
Okay, but this is, as you know, this is a public hearing.
I do.
The idea is to hear the public. That's what we're doing.
So, and again, we would still like to hear from council.
You will.
In 2020, we had a working meeting with all the concessions. they came, and the police department and the beach patrol said absolutely not. I'd like to see where the police department and beach patrol, have they been asked their opinion on this? And if so, I'd like to see that report. No.
There's no report. I mean, we're asking for your comment, so.
I'm asking for yours, I'm asking
You
for
will
your
get it
opinion.
after the public hearing.
Well,
hearing
it's
the public.
better, but then it might be too late. I'm asking you to, are you going to table this to?
No, we're not going to table it.
There you go.
We've had a very robust meeting right now. We've had a lot of people get up and speak on both sides of this issue. I think it's been a healthy conversation. I don't see a problem.
Okay, very good.
Question?
Now you put your hand up. You haven't put your hand up for over an hour and a half. That must have really hurt.
No.
That must have really hurt. But we have other people, and I'll get to you, James. Right straight back. Yeah, yes, you. Right, yes. Anthony?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I've been watching.
Good evening, City Council residents. My name is Anthony Rector, 115 Connecticut Avenue, West End. First off, I'd like to say God bless our troops and veterans for keeping us free and allowing us to have these days. I'm a lifelong resident. My family and I live in the West End. Previously, ground zero for bar regulations. My wife and I are raising a 14-year-old attending school here. I also represent a fellow who has made a lifelong investment in residential properties here in town. I do not intend to open a bar. I have a lot at stake with my child's well-being and our investments here in town. I've given a lot of thought and consideration to this matter, and I want to get it right. In a nutshell, the 10-foot service bar law is an antiquated hindrance on the prosperity and the freedom of our community, and it should be absolutely revoked. It was made in a different time in history. I surely remember Chauncey's. I understand the law, its intent, but it's overstayed its welcome. 18 exceptions and counting? Come on. We now have 2 establishments that actually make alcohol here in town, and then they serve it. And they're fantastic. Our breweries are wonderful assets to our community. Come on, people. 18 exceptions, no bars law. It's become a ghost from the past. The right intentions, but the times have changed. Please keep moving us forward, not backwards. This council has been fantastic at doing their job. Just look around, everybody. This town is what a wonderful place to live. Lastly, we need a marina and a seafood restaurant with a bar on public property.
Thank you. James, you have your hand up? You don't have it up anymore?
You said.
Okay, okay. Who is it? Okay, Phyllis. When? Okay, I'm sorry.
Whenever you're ready.
Can't get him straight today. And quite a quiz on me.
Good evening, Linda Giles, Long Beach, New York. I've been coming to council meetings for several years now, maybe more than that. And when the 5 of you came to power, I questioned myself, why do I keep coming? Because it's always yes, 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 yes. I haven't heard any questions or concerns from any of you as to this matter. And I really would like to know, first I'd like to know who put this resolution up? How does the resolution get to us?
That will take a long time to explain, but you do know how it works. Because I know that you discuss this all the
I
time.
don't know how.
You come to more meetings than anybody.
I don't know how you get the resolution up, and I want to know, is it one person, is it the whole council?
So resolutions come up in many different ways. But I don't have time to explain that now.
Okay, I would like to poll each one of you and ask you if you have any concerns about it.
Well, as I said, this is a public hearing.
I know.
And we're allowing the public, the public has a right to speak about it.
And I am the public, they are the public.
Right.
And maybe they would like to hear what the council has to say before they all vote yes.
Well, we're going to speak about it, but the public's going to speak first.
No, I want to hear from you.
Because that's the way we're running the meeting tonight.
Right? Why is tonight different than any other night?
No, I haven't run it before this way.
You know what, I don't understand, is there a grade or something? What is it? Why do you all vote the same way and nobody questions anything that comes up at these meetings? It is so frustrating to sit there and watch everybody agree on everything. I never saw that in any council before that I have come to.
Maybe that's why we're up here.
One second, that's not a fair comment. That's not a fair comment.
You asked me for a comment, I gave you one.
I didn't ask you for a comment. What you said.
Yes, you did. You said, what's your comment? I just gave it to you.
I'm asking you for a comment on this.
And I said, after the
Then it's too
public
late.
speaks,
Then it's too late because we know you're all going to vote yes.
what is it? I'm just asking you what you feel. Isn't it
I feel that I want to know what each of you feels.
You will find out.
This is a public. This is your public. This is a public hearing.
So if you want me to close it,
Public wants to
okay,
hear.
if you want me to close the public hearing and then if the council will speak, I will do that.
I got a question.
No, you don't want that, so why don't you say what you feel, that's what this is about.
What I feel is that there's a lack of concern about what the public wants. That we need to have a meeting. There are so many things that have come up here tonight that you don't have an answer to. And you're going to vote on it without an answer. Let's table it, have a public meeting where people
We're
can
having a
ask
public
questions.
meeting right now.
No, this is not a public meeting.
Yes.
I'm not allowed to ask
This is the
questions.
definition of a public meeting.
This is not funny.
But you know this,
It's,
you know this better than anyone. You know the civics better than anyone. This is the definition of a public hearing by the New York State
Fine,
Open
I'm
Meetings
not going to
Law.
argue with you.
Okay.
But if this public hearing is not allowing questions, then we need to have, just a minute, we need to have a public hearing.
You know that I respect you.
I don't care if you respect me. I
Okay,
care about
okay,
my
all right,
town.
okay.
I care about my town. And I care about the fact that we had the windmill issue that divided this town in half. And now we have this that is dividing the town in half again.
I don't think so.
Well, you don't, but I know it's.
It doesn't look that way tonight.
You know what?
I've been keeping
You know
score.
what? I know what your opinion is. I know what you say.
I've been keeping score.
It has been requested by other people who have come up here to delay this, to have a public meeting, not a hearing, but a public meeting where the entire town can tell you how they feel and their concerns.
What we're having right now.
No, we're not.
Sweetheart, you just don't like what you hear.
You had your hand up in, yes, yes, okay. Trying to call on people as their hand goes up.
How are you? I don't necessarily need a mic, I have no inside voice. My name's Andrew Levy, I also don't live in this town. I live on this beautiful Barrier Beach for my entire life. I know some of you, I am happy that you are now here representing this city. I think you guys are doing a hell of a job. There's been a couple of things that we have heard, misconceptions or misinformation. I think I'm going to speak, and if I'm incorrect, you please can correct me, but I'm pretty sure that while these are city-owned shacks, if you will, they were leased to these business owners. They pay the city rent for them. On top of that, hold off till the end, plus, trust me. On top of that, in some instances, they put hundreds of thousands of dollars of their own money into these shacks on the boardwalk. And in a world that we're living in today, where there's a ton of discrimination, how come nobody has come up here and said the one thing? Doesn't anybody see that this is business discrimination? These individuals, I believe, when they first entered into their lease agreements with the city of Long Beach, not you guys, way before that, I believe that they were told, 1 year, you'll get a liquor license. And a lot of people spent way more money than they would have put into these businesses because of that. And now you guys are trying to do what the right thing is. Brian and Gina are friends of mine. Greg LaPenna, I've known for many years, tremendous individual. And I think that, it's basic business discrimination. Again, people want to worry about drinking, driving, drowning. Hey guys, wake up. This is the life that we all live. Control yourself, control your children, control your friends, but don't handcuff people from earning a living, especially ones that are only earning it for a few months a year down here. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
That had to be hard for you to sit there without raising your hand so long.
James Hodge in this great city of Long Beach, 95 East Fulton Street. Thank God for all sides coming. This is what democracy looks like. There is some people that come up that are nervous, and you make them a bit more nervous when you do what you do. You answer questions that you want to answer, you don't answer some. Everybody's seeing it, it's on video. Whether you are in support or not in support, you should not dictate to the other council members when to speak and not to speak. I know you're the president, but Council Member Ennis tried to speak and you've been giving him evil eyes. Everybody will see from the video. He's able to ask a question. Hold on. The man that got up here and asked the question, he's a taxpayer. He should be able to ask a question, and Officer Lieutenant Chanowski came and answered questions. That's why we're here. We're here to ask questions, whether you are for and against. I don't say anything about the businesses, but because Brian, yes, him and his wife has done many things, the Johnsons and all, so it's not a problem that I have personally with the businesses, because the owners have been super extraordinary to the communities they serve.
It's me.
But no, what I'm saying to you is the council members should be able to speak. And when you go back and look at the video on what you were doing to him, it's wrong. The city manager tried to speak, you told him to be quiet.
That's right, I'm afraid, Joe.
Okay, so you should, he's a duly elected council member. Okay, you should allow him to speak. I am here to say, you heard the attorney speak, you heard many people speak. You heard also none other than Joey Biden speak, who's been on this, and I've worked with him for over 20 years. Thank God for all of the people that have been through struggles and they work each and every day. I was so scared one time, I went into Billy's Cafe and I asked for a virgin daiquiri, and it wasn't a virgin. I took a sip. I thought I was going to be drunk because I never drunk in my life. But I say that to say I never had a drink, but I say that I thank God for all of the people that are able to get through programs and all of that stuff. But there's some vital information that are coming through as far as safety, police, all of these different things. Judy told you about the Lord that you guys did not know about. And so there's things that, and then you said, we are going to vote. We're going to vote tonight. How are you answering for everybody when they didn't even answer it? So just to let everybody know, some things don't get on the agenda until basically they have already decided before it's on the agenda. So it's already pretty much decided. So I'll say to you, I know, listen, and you have two bar owners. They may be great to the community, but they should recuse themselves because they are bar owners. It's not a disparaging thing to them, but they are bar owners. And so I say in my last 10 seconds that with everything that is here, it's nothing against the business owners, but you should allow people to come and give you more information like you are finding out tonight. So again, God bless, stay blessed, and God bless our country and all the men and women that serve.
Thank you.
Amen.
Michael Quinn, 912 West Beach Street, own Burley's Tap Room. Speaking what he just said for Chris, Mrs. Johnson, I think this hurts your businesses in the West End by allowing alcohol sales not on the boardwalk, but adjacent to the boardwalk, as everyone's been saying. So me, I'm all for it, because I think it's better for everybody. Come down, have a drink, you're not on the boardwalk, you're adjacent. There's going to be security there, there's going to be everything else that's in place for all the West End establishments already. It's going to be the same thing on the boardwalk. Now, everyone's concerned about the timing. I'm sure, just like everything else, 9, 10 o'clock, it's going to be shut down. Just in the West End, can't have any music outside past 10 o'clock, probably the same ordinance. And they come around and give us tickets. And they come and make sure that we push everything inside. That's what the police department does. That's what all the ordinances do, and we try to follow them as best we can. Sometimes we're not perfect, but that's what we do. I'm all in favor of them having the licenses here, drinking drinking adjacent to the boardwalk. And to Brian and Greg LaPena, I'd like to have your first beer when you guys get the license.
Thank you. Who's that, Ron Paganini back there? No, who's it?
No, that's Dougie.
Oh. No insult to Ron. Hi, Doug.
Hi guys, how you doing? I'm Douglas O'Grady, 630 Shore Road. I am a lifelong resident. My kids are fourth generation Long Beach. I've helped out some people here on this panel, people in the city, myself, and I grew up with Brian and Greg since I'm 7 years old. And we all know each other. And I want to just tell you that these places are run very responsibly. This city has to stop being a land of no. Okay? I am for this public hearing on this ordinance. Okay? More revenue will come into the city. It'll create work for the CSA workers. It'll create work for the police. Other businesses will come down here and open up businesses. And there's a lot of vacant businesses in this city. You go look at the old Ball Downs Mall, right? There's other places with empty storefronts. We need to create more revenue for the city and more taxes coming in. These guys pay big money, and it's going to increase as they pay rent. They also have to pay for the construction of these decks and everything else that's going to be happening. And as far as the apples and oranges, Chauncey's to now, this is a different life. You know, that was when, you know, I grew up when it was the Wild West, and this is not it. And it wasn't a nice place, you know. Long Beach wasn't good then. Now we have a good place. We have good people here, you know. The West End, I know we get a little crazy. Look, when I was down there, you couldn't walk through the West End if you were a certain kind of person. You couldn't go on the boardwalk at night. I know this is true. This place is different. Our people different here, okay? You guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
In the back there, yes, you. I think that's going to be it, right? Oh, you want to speak? Oh, you're next, and I think that'll be it then.
Oh, and then you got Benda.
Oh, okay. This is like an auction, right to the end. Okay, got it.
Hey, how are you? Zach Fishman, East Harrison Street. So I had something written, but a lot of it was written and touched on by other people. So I just want to start by saying I'm 100% in support of all parts of the resolution with the alcohol sales on the boardwalk. Frankly, this should have been done 10 years ago when the concessions were open and a lot of business owners were actually promised this. So I'm happy to see it finally being revisited as it's long overdue. I just want to touch on a couple other things real quick. So one of the concerns people were having was about the the removing the restriction on new bars and whatnot, we're going to have an explosion of, of on-premises establishments. So just to cover like some of the costs these days of what it costs to open a bar. So the liquor license itself is about $300,000. So if you have I don't know too many people who just have $300,000 plus the long licensing time, then you have construction costs, and then you have the permitting costs. We're talking a lot of money. So I wouldn't think you're gonna have a ton of new bars open everywhere. So I really think this will help the existing establishments and restaurants, cut some red tape and cut some expenses. The other thing I wanted to just touch on real quick is, regarding the cost of the drinks. We're not looking at, two for 50-cent beers here. We're talking probably $11 beers, $20 mixed drinks. You go broke before you're gonna get drunk. So I wouldn't really think there's gonna be too much of a problem with large rowdy crowds on the boardwalk. The other thing I wanted to just touch on real quick is somebody mentioned about that, it's a park and, the boardwalk is a park. Well, Ocean Beach Park has been a park since the 1930s. And we used to have amusements, arcade, restaurants, and bars on the boardwalk and right next to it. And, Long Beach wasn't always the way it was. And while there was some things that maybe, that had to be, that were improved, had to be cleaned up, I think it's way overdue to have a place where you can go and get a drink and a nice meal on the boardwalk. It's way overdue for it. There's plenty of other cities that have it, whether you have Ocean City, Maryland, whether you have Tobay, whether you have any of these other places. There's plenty, I'm totally for it. It's long overdue, and I look forward to it.
Thank you. John Bendo. I didn't see your hand up back there.
Yeah, I'm very stealthy.
Stealth hand raising.
John Bendo, former city council member. I think I need to start by opening by saying you guys created some angst by putting two very different things in one resolution. I think there's a lot of people in this town that are okay with being able to go up to the boardwalk and get a drink. I'm one of them.
You are one of them.
In fact, I voted to let this concessions sell alcohol back in 2018.
Good.
But 3 council people
We've had conversations about it, you and I.
Right. So, but what this did, by adding that second part about eliminating all those sections, is you created a lot of angst with the residents of this city, because what this now does is, and we talked about this, you guys have talked about overdevelopment, but yet this has the potential to turn the city, the West End in particular, into the Coney Island of drinking. That's what it does. I love our establishments here in town. I've drank with you guys in a lot of them. I love them. I frequent them. And I support them. But there's a point where you have to say enough is enough. Again, boardwalk, I think a lot of people actually do agree with that. But then the lifting of the restrictions elsewhere in town, the West End already, we're all aware of the parking situation, the dirty sidewalks, the drunks staggering down Ocean View into the beach at night screaming and yelling because they go right past my house. More bars in the West End just exasperate that situation. So I would suggest to you, an appropriate thing to do would be to table this and split it into 2 resolutions. One focusing on the boardwalk, because I believe you would get support for that. But the other with the restrictions, that has to be more thought out, because it's creating the Wild West for drinking. And that's what we don't need. It needs to be done in a controlled, civil manner. Because the other thing that's going to come out of this is increased policing costs, increased cleaning costs, and things like that. And you know what? The bars don't pay that. It's the taxpayers of the city who pay for that. And the other thing is the inevitable lawsuit that will come, and this is probably unfortunately going to be true on the boardwalk, when Somebody that had a couple too many in the controlled area, which is perfectly fine, is gonna get on a bicycle and hit someone, or they're gonna stagger in. It's gonna happen. So we need to make sure this is done in a right way, in a controlled way. And quite frankly, this doesn't do it. This needs to be split into two and treated separately as the boardwalk, and then the rest, which deals with the lifting the restrictions across the whole city. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I think, Dale, you're going to be our last one. Oh, where? I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Somebody over there. I know, but this... No, okay, let's do that now. And so if you want to speak, you can line up on the right-hand side over here. If you want to speak next to Dale, line up. Then I didn't see the hands. They keep coming up afterwards. So, all right, Dale, go ahead.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
I have another concern that hasn't been brought up, and I hope you don't cut me off, because you may say that it's really not
I
about
haven't cut
this.
anybody off tonight.
For 3 minutes. It's not going to take that long.
Okay.
My concern is the fact that I don't believe we have enough restrooms for the number of people that plan on drinking on the boardwalk. I don't think you're going to tell people to have porta sands next to their businesses. So we need to think about what we're doing and what we're voting on before we go further, because we really do need to build more bathrooms. It's going to be needed.
Thank you. Roy?
Long night. We never had long nights like this. Roy Lester, Long Beach. Let's be honest, this is a Riptides meeting. You're usually good about this, Brendan. If it's not on the agenda, and yet everyone who came up and said, praised Brian, and I can't say anything bad about him or his business, you let them speak the entire time. That's not fair, because this is not about, it shouldn't be just about Riptides.
It's not.
But well, then you should have told the people this isn't about Riptides, because that's the, no, you didn't. Time after time, listen to the tape, okay? What this is about is an ordinance that suddenly is a problem, and I don't see that at all. And you're saying the Alegria has not been in conformance all these years, and so you had to do this ordinance? I don't get that. I read it, and it's clear that the only thing they're talking about is a south-facing entrance that serves food. And it serves it. Who does it serve it to? It serves it to people using the park. And you're saying basically, hey, that's not going to happen, but that's exactly what the ordinance says. You serve people using the park. And it used to be non-alcoholic beverages, now it will be alcoholic beverages. So people using the park, that doesn't say it's confined just to that building, not at all. It says people using the park. So the entire idea that this is not going to be going out into the boardwalk, what's Riptides going to do with their 17 tables? They're not going to let people drink alcohol on those tables? It's not going to work. It's not going to work, and you're going to have to change it. And you can see it right now. Now, the other thing that really I found interesting was Greg said that city can't regulate the hours of serving alcohol. Said it several times. And he brought up a case where somebody was serving alcohol till 4 in the morning.
De Jesus, right? Is that the case?
Yeah, there's a couple.
Yeah. And so we're going to have bars that are serving alcohol till 4 in the morning. And what if Riptide say, I want to serve my alcohol till 4 in the morning? You're stuck. You're stuck, according to what Greg is telling us. Absolutely stuck.
That's not true.
This thing is not going to work. The idea of alcohol on the boardwalk, there's questions about it. But alcohol in the park is what this is really about. Now, one of the things I've heard is that, well, you let the volleyball people do it. Go down there and you have truckloads of alcohol in the volleyball. Is that a reason to change an ordinance because you're not enforcing something? Isn't that kind of crazy? I just don't understand it. What I'm hearing is we can't enjoy the sunset without alcohol. That's pretty sad. Thank you.
What did you say, the sun never sets on Jones Beach?
Yeah, what time do they close at Jones Beach?
Oh.
Nobody lives on Jones Beach.
Woody Dolan. Okay, please, let's have a nice meeting. We have a lot of time left.
Okay, I'll make this real quick. Woody Dolan, 110 Roosevelt, Long Beach, New York. And just to simplify this thing, if I can, you know, I'm 58 years old. I pay taxes. I'm from Long Beach. If I want to get on my bike and ride up onto the boardwalk and have a drink with my daughter, nobody should tell me that I can't. Drinking's legal in the United States. And I'd be hard pressed to find, I feel like it's craziness up here. I'd be hard pressed to find a bar or a restaurant on a boardwalk, on a beach, anywhere in this country that you sit down and say, I want a beer, and they say, we can't serve you a beer. It's just unheard of. The only thing everybody should be talking about is what kind of regulations can we put to keep it safe for everybody. If everybody wants to talk about, hey, stop drinking at 9 o'clock and we're gonna have more police, great, have all those conversations, but to have a conversation that says I can't have a beer with my daughter on the boardwalk is insanity.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Amanda Cashanovo, 42 Kentucky Street. I also am part owner of the Marrow, formerly known as the Whale's Tail. I just want to say that I've been here since I'm 9 years old. I grew up in the West End. I went to West School. I went to Long Beach Middle School. I went to Long Beach High School. I went to Nassau Community College, and then advanced to St. John's. I have been in Long Beach my entire life. My dreams were made to come true 3 years ago when we opened up the Marrow. And forgive me for my shaky voice, I am a little nervous.
Okay, me too.
For once in my life. My dreams came
Don't be
true.
nervous, you're amongst friends here.
3 years ago when we opened the Marrow. That was all thanks to a supportive community, amazing bosses like Chris, who taught me things along my journey, supportive members like George, who was always a friendly face when I was bartending. And I just want to thank you guys for that. I just want to say, as a business owner, and I am a taxpayer here. I live here. I have been here my entire life, and prior to that, my parents were taxpayers here. So I am 100% in support of drinking and serving alcohol on the boardwalk. We are absolutely not in competition with any other members or any other businesses in this town. Like Quinn was saying, this does not help us in the West End whatsoever. But again, it is not a competition. This is for the Long Beach community. This is so that you can go out and drink with your daughter on the beach if you want to. This is so that you want to watch the sunset or the sunrise, whatever you want to do. This is a free country. We should be able to look at the beach and have a drink if we want to. And if there's any concerns about drowning or drunk and disorderly, that is to each his own. Like, we're all adults here, we should act like it. The bars pay money for security and cleaning of our sidewalks every single day. Come walk down Beach Street and see any one of us. From the jetty to Shines to Cans, all the way down to Das Beer Garden, and see us cleaning the sidewalks ourselves and paying for security ourselves. Lastly, I would like to say that the majority of people complaining and that are against this do not support our businesses. They do not come to our bars, come to our restaurants. So please take that into consideration when making this vote, because these 60+ complainers that are here do not support us and should not be vindicated for anything that they're saying. This is a mess.
Good evening, Brendan Healy, West End, former president of West End Neighbors Association of Long Beach. It's been a long night. I think John raised a really good point, which is I think these issues may be better off being separated. It is what it is. Can you guys hear me? No. Oh, sorry. So John raised a good point about these issues maybe being separated, but we are where we are, we're here where we are, and that's fine. Instead of talking about alcohol on the boardwalk or whether it's good, bad, and different, I'd like to just offer a comment, suggestion. You know, in the West End, we love the West End. We love our businesses in the West End. We've spent a lot of time working with many of you as bar owners to try to find that equilibrium, that balance. And some of that's been favored, some of it hasn't been favored, but at the end of the day, I think we all do try to come together to make it a vibrant community. My ask, again, not representing the West End neighbors today, my ask of the council here is, as we approach the summer season, as business owners, let's go the extra mile to represent the community well. Let's think about how we can work together to address those issues, that we see in the West End. We all want to have a good time. We all want to have a great place to live. I love going out. I love having dinner. I don't go out as much as I used to. I have kids. It's fine. But the reality is, let's, as business owners in the community, please address some of the concerns that you hear. Whether it's noise, whether it's vibrations coming from a particular bar, whether it's patrons that get a little unruly, it's going to happen. But I just ask, go the extra mile. I know you do, but maybe you have to go even a little bit further. Because I think that'll help, put people at ease. So, just a comment and so
well said.
Thank you.
Thanks. You don't even need to stand on the box.
No, sir. Good evening. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. It's getting late. I'm sure you guys want to wrap it up. My name is Aiden Rooney. I just want to say this isn't about turning the boardwalk into some kind of nightclub or some kind of chaos that everyone spoke about tonight. It's about local businesses being able to serve a drink and a meal, and people can enjoy themselves with their family and their loved ones. I and many others would just love to be able to do that. Riptides has been a part of this community for years, and alcohol in this area is obviously nothing that isn't new. So this is really just about fairness and consistency with the rest of the community. This can be done responsibly, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so that concludes the public speaking part of our public hearing. We will now hear from the council. And George, I apologize if I was out of line. James left, so he won't believe that I apologize to you 11 times.
No need to apologize. A couple of things. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I know you're here because you truly do care about Long Beach, no matter what side of the aisle of this issue you're on. So I respect everything that everybody had to say. I do think there were some misconceptions before this meeting started. I think some of those were clarified earlier by Dan and Brendan and Greg. What I heard tonight was a lot of worst case scenarios, and trust me, I appreciate them. Nobody wants to see anybody drowning. Nobody wants to see fights in a bar. Nobody wants to see kids getting hit by a stumbling drunk. But I tend to believe the best case scenarios, I have confidence in the adults in this town. Yeah, there's always going to be a jerk. For years, people have discussed with me long before I ever considered getting into politics, which I still wonder about sometimes. Why can't you walk on the boardwalk or bike on the boardwalk or come off the beach or get off work and go have a drink and look at that $1 million view that the gentleman spoke about before? I don't understand what is so horrible about that. A lot of things can go wrong. A lot of things go wrong in life. You cross the street, you get hit by a car, for God's sake. It's horrible. But give the adults in this town, I think, and give the owners of, it's Riptide we're talking about now, but there may be another place. It may be what's the other place called? Driftwood. I don't know what their position is, but one day they may want to. I would love to have a lobster roll with a cold beer. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think this is going to turn into complete chaos. I think give the people of this town the credit for being responsible, give the owners of these establishments credit for being responsible. Let's try it out. I firmly believe when the summer is over that you will be pleasantly surprised that a lot of people will enjoy the boardwalk and enjoy a beverage on the beach. Somebody talked about only the businesses benefit from this. No, I think we all benefit from it. I think tourists benefit from it. I think residents benefit for it. If you don't want to have a drink, don't want to have a drink. But please, I'm not with the temperance movement. It's not my job to decide how people should go about their drinking habits. That's up to them. They're adults. Let them do it. If they get out of hand, there are ways to deal with it. I don't think we need 1,000 more cops to be patrolling riptides. I think this is a bit of a over hysteria, if you ask me. I think everything's going to work out just fine. Please give the adult residents of this town the benefit of the doubt to be responsible and enjoy themselves.
Well, I'd like to start off by saying, as a council person, I am pro-business and pro-growth. And when I was campaigning, that's what I ran on. And I completely support the entrepreneurs in this town. And whatever we can do to help them move forward, I'm for it. If it can be done safely and smart through the city. First of all, we spent so much time tonight speaking about riptides, but there is not a deal in place yet with riptides. There is proposals, there is things that we're all discussing, there's no deal yet, and if we do have a deal moving forward, the city is the landlord, and they would do what's best for the community for as best they can. And I truly believe that. I love riptides, I love going on the boardwalk. I would love to go in and have a drink on the boardwalk if I choose to. Again, and also as far as somebody else said earlier, that some of the other business owners in town would benefit from this. I'm a business owner in town. I did not recuse myself from this vote because at the end of the day, my business does not benefit from any rules that we may change. I don't benefit at all. Actually, this would actually maybe hurt my business with different patrons that might not come to the West End and they would stay on the boardwalk. So I hope you understand why I did not recuse myself, because I didn't think it was necessary. I do think that we need to look at the two issues that brought this ordinance, or this to the agenda this evening, and it is the legality of the boardwalk liquor licenses, and the SLA is absolutely ultimately in charge, more so than the city. And I'd like to, I've been talking to Greg about this, and you have to understand that the SLA has authority over who they do give licenses to and who they deny licenses to. And as far as the 10-foot rule for service bars, it just doesn't make sense to me to issue service bars and then they just go for a variance and they ultimately get what they need anyway. So that's where I stand on it. I'm pro-business again. I'll continue to be pro-business, and I really thank everybody's comments, and I thank you all for being here and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you, Brendan. Yes, George and Tracy, I thought spoke very eloquently, and for everybody else who spoke very eloquently today. I know a lot of people, it's their first time coming up, and they're a little bit nervous, but we appreciate that. Please come to more meetings. It would be great to hear from people like this on all sorts of issues. Let me reiterate, it's zero tolerance on the boardwalk for alcohol. There's not going to be people drinking on the boardwalk. This is really, we're here tonight because we're cleaning up ordinances. It's a legality issue with the SLA. I thank you to Greg for really combing through this. We want to be in line with the law. That's why we're here. Most of all, we want to support our local businesses. Listen, I can speak for the council on this point where our priority is always to keep the residents safe. there's not going to be a free-for-all on the boardwalk if additional people apply for licenses. It's not going to happen with this council. You've seen us crack down on things like this before. It's not going to happen. But here's the central part of the idea. The idea is to create revenue and support local businesses. What does that do? That helps keep our taxes down. That's the whole game. So yes, I'm going to support this.
So we heard a lot tonight. We heard some ballot stuff, some invalid stuff, some political stuff, some fear-mongering, some factual stuff, a really mixed bag of things, right? And I listened, and I think people had valid points by saying they wanted to hear from us, and we kind of took a position instead of a Q&A, let's save our comments at the end. So I have a bunch of comments, and I want to address pretty much everybody's comment. They wrote a list of things down. So this is about a bunch of things, and there's a business side of it. I'll start with that. I hear somebody in the crowd, one of the people in that section yelling, how's it going to help? Well, there's no deals in place, and everybody talked about what could happen, and what if, when this happens, and that happens, and riots. I just want to remind everybody that it's the only administration that stopped 2 riots from happening 2 years in a row at New York City. So I just want to remind everybody but what if all these what ifs happened, right? I think there's a tremendous benefit to the city being the landlord of these establishments, because none of them really have leases right now, right? And now we have to go to a negotiation for a lease, which allows us to put guardrails on what we allow and how we allow it. We also now allow the state liquor authority to do their job. If people are not following the rules, they will be shut down. And I think between our local law enforcement, we have a great police department, and the SLA, that'll happen. I also think that this is not going to be a place where you're going into some college bar your buddy works at, and you're laying $20 on the bar. These are seasonal businesses. I don't know what they're going to charge, but I can't imagine, people spending the day there, and drinking a bunch of alcohol, unless they're really rich. I don't know. This is about compliance. That's another factor. Like Tracy just said, what are we going to do? And John, I know you said about Coney Island and the West End. What's changed over the last 10 years? 18 of 18 applicants went through the dairy process. What happened with 18 of those applicants? They all got approved for a bigger bar. Because we have an archaic law, and guess what, guys? It's illegal. It's illegal. So, but there's a law factor of this, right? There's a factor that also is in place, that so much misinformation has been out there, and that drinking on the boardwalk and in the parks and in the bike lane and this drunken rowdiness. I mean, if it hasn't happened in 15 years with the Allegria having a bar that measures 18 feet to the entrance of the door, and it's a much bigger, and no offense to the concessions here, nicer space, why is that going to happen now? Has there been an increased police presence at the Allegria? Steph, are you still here? Yes, sir. Okay, has that been an increased burden on the city of New York, city of Long Beach, because the Allegria serves liquor that I'm not aware of?
Nothing that's discernible to me without reviewing record.
There's the guy in charge, so we can go off of fear-mongering and what ifs, or we can go off of the lieutenant inspector who is in charge of that type of stuff. So there's more aspects of this. Like I said earlier, the benefits of us being the landlord, we get to limit the hours, the misinformation of, I heard some funny things this week. One of the ladies, I think it was Nora Egan, said she enjoys a train ride. And I don't have social media, but people send me screenshots. And there's been some funny things said, dance floors, second floors, this, that, the other thing. I mean, somebody, Studio 54 on the beach. But the fact is, no deals have been made with anybody. This is a public hearing. It's our position that we think, or I should say I think, that Long Beach needs to move forward. We have competition to the west, and people talk about not neighborhoods. Rockaway Beach is highly more populated and dense than Long Beach. And I don't know the problems that they have there. I actually enjoy Rockaway Beach in the summer, and they have bar after bar. It's city owned, okay? Jones Beach has no community, but they have very big bars there, so on and so forth. I think that, you know, there was another comment made. This has become the Riptide show for some reason. That's the political aspect I started with. People like to do that stuff. That's Long Beach. It's a contact sport here, setting those campaigns.
It's a blood sport.
Fortunately for me, I'm not a politic, and I don't care what the consequences are. Make a decision that I feel makes the city better and that the majority of the city supports. And I don't know of each town in America, I live quite often in Florida, that you can get a drink on the beach. Does it have to be done responsibly with guardrails and consequences and security and sanitary issues all addressed? Absolutely not. Absolutely. Absolutely. But this has been the land of no for so long, and somebody said about us five while we're up here, and why don't we disagree on anything? And I think that's why we're up here, because we see a vision of Long Beach that is moving forward, and we're going to continue to keep taxes where they're at. We're going to continue to bring revenue. And one other thing, for people who don't see the benefit to it, when we renegotiate these leases, we're not going to renegotiate them at the same rate if you can increase your business. That's business 101. So we're going to bring in more revenue to the city. So I'm totally in support of it. I look forward to a new era of Long Beach, and hopefully it's done in a responsible way that everybody can enjoy it. And I know, I'm just going to make a bet now, I'm going to see a lot of these faces that are all against us in these concessions. So we'll high five and put it behind us then. But I'm totally in support of it.
I'd like to echo what George said. Thank you everybody for coming out here tonight. We still got a lot of stuff on our agenda, so you don't have to leave. You can all stay. But I'm grateful to see this many people come out. I think we had a robust conversation. We had people speak on both sides of this, and I think so many good points and great points were made on both sides of this issue, and they all are being taken into account. So thank you. So a couple of comments. Someone said drinking, driving, and drowning. Now there's some really positive stuff we're thinking about, right? Yeah, that's the worst case scenario, as you said, you know, and let's hope that doesn't happen. Rich Borowski's been doing a great job with the lifeguards, keeping the lifeguards out after hours. After we close the beach, we stop to collect the tickets, the beach doesn't close. And they do a good job. If we have to beef it up, we will, okay? Summer after hours lifeguards is really something that's important. I want to say something else. We've got a great city manager. I say it just about every meeting. We have a great city manager. Dan Creighton does a great job. The city is lucky to have him working here. I feel lucky that we have him because he is not only talented and smart, but he's got great integrity and he works his ass off. Okay? So, the contracts are negotiated and negotiations, you know, have occurred over the time periods. Dan will be looking out for the city, taking care of all the issues that were brought up. Will we need more police? Will we need more specials? Will we need closing hours? Will there be noise constraints, time constraints? These are all things that will certainly be taken into consideration because they always have been. Okay? But you do have the right to ask, and no one was saying you shouldn't. Right? We agree. Everyone should be able to be heard. And I think everyone was heard. I think almost everybody from the city came down and cared about this issue. We had a lot of people. The licenses go with the brick and mortar, but the city controls the concessions. The city controls the leases. So that's really important. That was an important topic. Good comment, Judy. You said it to me earlier today. And I agree, but the city will control. Okay, just because you get a liquor license in Long Beach, if the city owns the building, that doesn't mean you can sell there. Okay, so, I mean, these are things that will be ironed out. I think it is pretty funny that weed is legal, but beer drinking is not. That's got to upset a few beer drinkers out there, right?
When we do it,
So anyway, I've said enough. I just think it's about time that someone, and many people said it, can ride down the boardwalk with their wife and kids, or walk with their wife and kids, or with their girlfriend, or their boyfriend, or whomever, and say, hey, let's get a beer, and let's look at the sunset. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. A lot of people move to Long Beach just for that reason. My parents are two of them, okay? So I'm really glad they did that. So of course, I'm in favor of this, and that was long-winded. So, yeah, I'm in favor of it too. So, I'd like Greg to talk about the issue, a couple of issues here.
Yeah, I have some notes regarding allegations of a conflict of interest. I think Tracy succinctly said it. Neither Chris nor Tracy own property north of the Ocean Beach Park, so there's no, or at least not commercial property, that abuts the boardwalk, so there's no conflict there. And as far as changing the code as to the 10-foot bar, as I've said many times, very confident that that law is illegal, but even if it's not, they already have their variances and relief from that board, such that eliminating it does nothing to help them. Arguably, it hurts them, because it removes red tape for other people to enter into that business. So with that being said, the board can take a vote.
Yeah, so I'm going to make a motion that we vote on this resolution now, so this way we can allow these people to go home and say hello to the kids again, right? And whatever it is they want to do, we'll go have a beer at the Allegria.
Who will second?
I will.
Second.
Councilmember Johnson?
Absolutely, yes.
Councilmember Ennis?
I vote yes.
Councilmember Reinhardt?
Yes.
Vice President Fiamara?
Yes.
President Finn?
Yes? All right. All right, so we have plenty of agenda left if anybody wants to stay and hang out. I didn't think so. All right, we're on 4, right?
Money, give me
All right, here we go.
2 minutes.
Go.
We got
I'm sorry?
Would we have a stream?
There's just no audio. The stream is on.
We're recording.
But I'm recording the whole meeting, so I'm going to release both on the website.
Hey, Brian, why don't you give me
All right, okay. Well, that'll get me on fast. St. Patrick's Day? St. Patrick's?
I believe so. You might as well say we're taking a 5-minute break.
Just so everyone is aware, we're taking a 5-minute break. We are at 2 hours and 45 minutes for just item 3.
Harry, was that vote just for item 3? Or was it for all
For
three?
item 3, just item 3.
So 1 and 2 still haven't
One
been
and,
voted on?
no, 1 and 3 have been voted on. We just didn't vote on 2.
Okay, so you voted on 1 and 3?
No, we voted on 1 when the hearing happened. I think you came in late after we did that already. They did 2, then they did 3, only called 3 to vote.
Okay, so these 3 right here, which ones have been voted on?
1 and 3
1 and 3, motor vehicle?
has not been voted on yet.
Just 1 and 3, okay.
We all had very good things to make.
Brown, if it's, it should be, I think. No, the only reason.
Say hi before you guys start again. I thought I'd never have to go stand there again. Figured I had to say something. Gina interacted with me on Facebook that I was against it. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with her? She's talking to me like it's against it, against us, and what the fuck are you talking about? I actually voted to let you sell alcohol. It was your friends who voted it down.
Well, listen.
I do know how it is, especially with those two. Especially with those two. Very transactional. You like it so far? Is it what you expected?
No, to be quite honest with you, this is personal. Oh, this year?
Yes.
I mean, it's part of it's satisfying, part of it's frustrating.
Stuff like this in particular, people are gonna come up. You suck. I love you.
So like you said.
I can give you a Werther's.
One of those.
I'm sorry, I can.
Hold on. No, I'm good.
I met you. Yeah. That was Independence Day weekend.
I want to start very
I
soon.
might have been.
Yes. Just people, just bathroom break.
No.
That's all.
I'll wait.
No, Tracy, you can go to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah, that's what you were talking about. He said, I read an article, he said the place was too big for the number of people they were serving. You know, he's trying to find a solution.
So we made it open? So we made it open?
He says he's trying.
There was a place, biscuits and breakfast.
I've been there. That closed too. That closed too.
Cleaned up.
What's that? I'm enjoying retirement quite a bit.
Yeah, let's just finish out. I'd like to go to the house.
Maybe a few.
I mean, I bought a handle just to make sure I was stopped for after this.